welcome to another DCU Daily. Here we are on a very special day because, of course, not only do we have the main show of DCU Daily, but we also have Tier List Tuesday, so we will be getting into that after the show as always. You picked it, so we're going to talk about it. Well, obviously, before we head there, we are going to be talking about all sorts of news-related things. We have a bunch of trailers for you. Got some more Avatar talk. I'm sure Caleb will be very happy about that. And then we have quite a bit of MCU Weekly of, trailer leaks, Marvel totally not leaking trailers and leaking rumors and all that sort of thing. And then we have something a little bit different. We have an outlook on the 2026 box office season. We're going to be talking a little bit of our predictions for said box, a bold out there prediction from each of us to see if that comes true, and if the 2026 box office will parallel that. But outside of that, of course, we have our quick hits, and then our big story, our really only story in regards to DCU Daily, is of course a certain other MCU veteran joining the Bex, the Batman epic crime saga. Will never not be stupid, but he himself is not stupid, so we will be talking about that, of course. And we also have the grandiose return of a special guest, but we will get into that after our glorious news intro. So sit tight, strap in, and get ready for the news.
It doesn't seem to matter what I do. I'm always number two.
All right, Mr. I need to paint my abs on to get nominated. You don't see Robert Downey doing that.
You're kidding.
You're
kidding. I can't open the envelope without the...
Warner Brothers is heading back into the Matrix with a new movie in the works.
Wonder what other surprises are in store.
I want to be Bruce Wayne. I like that. You're gonna love me.
There's the shot, right there. That.
Okay, we don't need to see Cole's.
Right there.
You look ridiculous.
Well, not no more, he don't.
What, dude? I can barely understand you. Your accent's insane.
What the
Give me a hand up. Nope, I'm actually okay. Thank you very much. Oh, wow. Wow.
Oh boy, here we are. I'm your host, John. Lovely to see you, and we're gonna have a ton of fun today because, of course, we also have Dan here. He's not on screen yet, but
everybody.
How you doing, Danny boy?
No, I'm doing good. I'll be on camera soon. Just
Yes.
setting up Tier List Tuesday, but it's gonna be a great back-to-back show today. Well, set of shows
Yes.
today. We're a little bit earlier than usual, so. We've got a packed rundown, though. We've got lots to get into.
Yeah, but the thing is, Dan, we also have a packed show. We have a packed show of not just subjects, but of people. Because somebody has come back. It's Lizz! Liz, how are you doing? It's been a while, and your camera's frozen, but that's okay.
That's going to happen. That's going to happen. It's what you're used to with me. Nothing but the best over here. Hey, everybody. So excited to be back. Really excited to get into all the news and fun things to talk about and catch up on. Miss everybody. Hi.
Here we are. And somebody, Nelson Moreno is in the chat. Hello, Nelson. Nobody's really watching right now because we are very early, so we don't have the usual suspects in just yet. But Monique is going to come in, and Caleb's going to come in. Everybody's going to come in. It's fine. It's fine. So the first thing we have to talk about is actually, well, I mean, it is news, but it's like news adjacent, but it's more, movie talk madness. We're going to get into movie talk madness first. And the first thing is Avatar, which I'm sure nobody is sick of talking about. But the franchise future is a little up in the air, and a certain other James has thrown his hat into the ring in terms of if James Cameron doesn't want to do Avatar 4, and that's Mr. James Wan. Apparently, he's throwing his hat into the ring here. He's like, hey, guys, I did a bunch of water-based movies, and I feel like I'm your man if James Cameron is willing to, just kind of push away from the franchise and is willing to let somebody else do it. So he's saying, I'd love to take a crack at the $1 billion franchise. I don't know if James Cameron would allow this, because he has said a bunch of times in the past that nobody else would ever direct an Avatar film outside of him. So I don't see this happening. But let's say hypothetically James Cameron's like, all right, I really want to do this other movie. Disney's like, well, we're going to fucking do an Avatar movie with or without you because we need that moolah. After, Doomsday and Secret Wars only makes like 300 mil at the box office each. We need money. So like, we're going to make it without you. And he's like, you know what? Fucking fine. Deal with it. I don't give a shit. So James Wan as director for Avatar, for whatever that fucking shit is going to be called. Thoughts on it? Because honestly, I don't think that's half bad.
Listen. If we had to switch to somebody else, James Wan is absolutely a great director. I think that would be great. But I was talking with Dan a little bit about this before the show because this headline is like messing with my brain. I'm like, but hold on, like James Cameron for, I don't know what, 20 years has been like, this is my baby. This is my swan song. This is the last thing I'm going to do in my career is these 5 films. So to see that anyone would even be considering directing them aside from James Cameron is really like messing with my brain because I thought this was his baby. Like I thought these were his things and like nobody else like, so it's really a surprising conversation to have. But if we were to throw any names out there, James Wan would be very high on that list. So I don't hate it, but I also think it's kind of, I mean, what is this, Harry Potter, where all of a sudden, like right in the middle of the franchise, we're just going to shift course and it's going to, I still feel like it would look drastically different. And so I don't know. It's kind of bizarre.
Can I just kind of add to this?
Dan, thoughts on this?
Yeah, I was just going to say, a little bit of context with what James Cameron has been saying of late. He seems to want to, I think he's looking at his mortality in the face and saying, I want to do other things before I get too old or, maybe leave for the great beyond. And as part of that, he obviously wants to, try his hand at, we talked about rebooting the Terminator franchise. He's also got like that book for his friend that he made a promise to on his literal deathbed that he wanted to do, that he wants to probably take a crack at. And then alongside all of those projects, he's said that he's still committed to doing a 4th and 5th one if Disney want to do it. But he's also said he might kind of be a little more hands off, which leads you to believe maybe like he might bring in another director to really take the helm, and like what we saw with Alita Battle Angel, because that was a movie that Robert Rodriguez ended up directing because James Cameron was busy with Avatar, and so he just produced it. I think he wrote and produced it. Obviously you could tell like that if maybe James Cameron directed it, some things would look different. Is James Cameron like the most auteuristic director in Hollywood? Probably not, but you could tell when James Cameron has directed something versus when he's just producing it. So I think ultimately though, James Wan is one of the most visually engaging big blockbuster directors out there, from the work that he's done in the Fast and Furious franchise to what he did with the Aquaman movies, especially the first one, which made $1 billion. He knows a thing or two about how to make these kind of big adventures, but at the same time, the methodology that James Cameron has used for now well over a decade making these Avatar movies is still pretty unique to how they just make the Avatar movies. So, like, I don't know, John, if it would be a situation where another director can simply step in and kind of take over and we get something that looks and sounds and walks and talks like it's still a James Cameron made Avatar movie. So there will be differences. Hello, Stacy, by the way. So yeah, I mean, I think it could work well. Will it make another billion and a half? Like even this one that's out right now, Fire and Ashes, looking like it will get close to 2 billion, but probably not quite cross that threshold. I guess, that's a little further down the road, so I wouldn't really make predictions there. But we all know there's probably going to be at least a 4th, if not both 4th and a 5th, considering that the 3rd movie still made well, is already past $1 billion. So it's just a matter of time at this point. If I was a betting man, I would still say Cameron directs it.
Right?
There are, originally the plan was for 5. But the other thing James Cameron mentioned, John, and I don't know if you remember this, but and because it's been a while, um, or I think he also mentioned it recently talking about Fire and Ash, that the third movie sort of wraps up a trilogy. Because you could, I mean, if you've seen the movie, you kind of know, like, it feels like the ending of the movie is, you could just leave it there and not revisit this world ever again. And while sure there's doors for them to kind of go in a different direction, I think James Cameron has also implied that after the third movie, there's going to be a time jump, and so the fourth movie won't feel like literally picking up from where the third one left off, like the second one and the third one feel like direct continuations of each other. So in that sense, if they'd never do a fourth and fifth, it's, like nobody's like got a cliffhanger that we're worried about resolving. So yeah, I mean, it's ultimately I still feel like James Cameron probably will end up directing a fourth and a fifth, because it is, like you said, Liz, it's his baby, and he might want to do other things, but he's still made no commitment to directing any of those other projects. He's not even he's said himself that while he wants to do something with Terminator, he's not really committed to maybe directing a new Terminator movie. He's gonna want to write it, and then even like some of the other projects he's got on his list of ideas. I mean, yeah, Avatar, like, it's still, and James Cameron is knows what he's doing. Like, he he's become a very rich man because of this franchise, and these movies still make hundreds of millions in profit. So, despite the fact they don't have a lot of cultural presence, like the Avatar theme park never went anywhere for Disney. It's not like Marvel, like, or DC, where you see, or Star Wars in that sense, but still, yeah. James Wan would be great, but Cameron, I think, is more likely still going to direct the fourth and the fifth if there are to be more Avatar movies. So yeah.
But that's not the only franchise we're going to be talking about for Movie Talk Madness. But this rumor that keeps perpetuating, that just still won't die, that Dave Filoni and some other person will replace Kathleen Kennedy as the new. What is this? The sixth time that we said Kathleen Kennedy is getting replaced? Even though she herself had said, oh yeah, I'm going to stay until, like, I'm dead, like, type shit. So, like, okay, like, this is, like, the third or fourth time where we've said this. Like, oh yeah, Dave Filoni, the Mr. fucking Cowboy Hat over here, is definitely going to, replace Kathleen Kennedy. It's like, yeah, sure. Okay. Like, I don't believe this for a second. Like, and plus it's coming from Puck News, so, and not like Deadline or Variety or anything like that, just some asshole being like, women can't be, like, CEO, so this guy that I like is definitely replacing. It's just, I don't care.
I don't know, Liz, what do you have to say to this? Because I definitely have a few things I want to mention here.
Yeah, I do not have any. I mean, I don't know Dave Filoni enough. I don't know Lewin Brennan enough. I mean, I really don't have thoughts on this one. I think Kathleen Kennedy's been doing a great job thus far, but we knew at one point she was going to step down. She was going to retire. So I don't know.
Yeah, the way I look at this, again, providing some context on what has gone on. Last year, there was some reporting out there that Lewin Brennan, I think that's how you say her name, was sort of like the next one in line. But hello, Fiona, in the chat. Moderator Fiona is here. There were reports that Lewin Brennan was kind of being groomed as potentially like sort of the Peter Safran equivalent. Like the next person in line to take over the business aspect. Because Kathleen Kennedy, and hello, Sergeant Giratina, but Kathleen Kennedy, by the way, is one of the most accomplished producers in the history of Hollywood. She knows how to make a movie. She knows how to get things across the line from a production standpoint. She's always, though, struggled as an executive, kind of keeping the story and the in-universe canon elements and maybe getting in sync with all the directors that came on board and ultimately left without making a Star Wars movie. They do have 2 movies in production now between Starfighter and The Mandalorian and Grogu, which, depending on how things go, both of those might end up becoming more than just a single movie. Having said that, Dave Filoni also, like last year, there's reporting that whenever Kathleen Kennedy leaves, it won't just be like one person replacing her. They will probably do something similar to what they've done at DC Studios with James Gunn managing the creative side of things and Peter Safran being more on the production and the more execution and really just the business aspect of how DC Studios operates. So here, this would be the comparison that Dave Filoni will take over the creative side of the universe, the Star Wars, and basically, I guess that would mean also Indiana Jones, which probably will be on ice for a while anyway. And what's the other one that they did? Was it Wicked? No, not Wicked. What's the one that they rebooted and nobody went and saw it? And anyway, like Lucasfilm has
John Aries?
No. Lucasfilm. Like, remember there was on Disney Plus.
Oh.
Somebody will tell me. Lucasfilm has a few other things.
Oh, Willow.
Willow.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
we don't talk about that.
I mean, yeah, well, like, so I don't know if Dave Filoni's all of a sudden gonna have anything to say on a reboot of Indiana Jones or another shot at rebooting Willow, but like it's mostly gonna be Star Wars as Lucasfilm. So between Filoni and Brennan, they'll kind of be the Gunn and Safran. Now Puck News is a relatively new outlet, John. So, but they do have a lot of the people that work for them. I think this is coming from Matthew Baloney, who's got a lot of connections, and he's sort of
All right,
now
that
working
just
for Puck.
tells you right there.
So,
this is literally coming from baloney. Like this is literally baloney.
It's actually, I don't, maybe I'm pronouncing it wrong because it's Belloni, so maybe it's Bellany, Matthew Bellany. But anyway, point is, their sources are good. They've come through before on a bunch of other stories in recent times. Hello, Caleb. So I believe this because this was actually reported last year, but the timeline was never given. But Kathleen Kennedy also said she wasn't leaving anytime soon, but she will. She has been working on finding a successor, if not, a succession plan. So whether this happens, look, the only thing I don't believe about this is going to happen in a couple of weeks. The announcement, though, I like the idea that they're going to announce something. I don't think Kathleen Kennedy actually exits Lucasfilm until after probably Starfighter comes out, which is next year. So I don't think that she's leaving anytime soon, but they'll probably announce that, the plan is being put in place and who's going to succeed her. So then, there will be like an off-ramp essentially for, like, if you count the time, maybe in the next 12 months or so, and then she will kind of transition out at that point. So yeah, I mean, look, ultimately I feel like Star Wars could use a refresh, but Dave Filoni also, I feel he I don't know. I have mixed feelings about him being the creative head of Lucasfilm, John. I mean, Liz, do you care to add to that at all? Like, do you feel like Dave Filoni is the right man to kind of like steer the creative side of this franchise moving forward?
Well, again, the fact that I really don't know, like, I've heard his name here and there, but I really don't know the dude, so I would go ahead and say no. Like, to me, he's relatively unknown, so no.
He did work with George Lucas closely, but he's just the guy who, like, seems like he cares about canon and, like, Star Wars lore and all that stuff, but he really cares about his own, like, OCs and all that shit, and just, like, that's the stuff, like, he's the reason why Ahsoka is not dead, like, even though she should have been after Order 66, so, it's just, I don't know, I just think he's overrated. I don't think he's as great as a lot of people say he is, and oh, this fucking stupid cowboy hat. Fucking loser. Anyway. And I love how, like, Sam Witwer fucking owned Dave Filoni on his, like, one of his, like, first days. Because there was the story where he was working on Clone Wars. And there was, like, this whole dramatic scene of, like, Anakin Skywalker, like, saying to the ghost of his mother, Shmi, and he's like, I fell in love with someone, I wish you could have met her, blah, 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 and all this other shit. And then Sam Witwer was like, hey, that was great and all, but, like, this isn't right. And Dave Filoni's like, what the fuck are you talking about? He's like, well, Shmi did meet Padme in episode 2, where they fucking go and he wrecks havoc on the Tusken Raiders. Padme was with Shmi, and then Dave Filoni's like, wow, oh my god, this fucking intern fucking owned my ass. And it's just like, yeah, if anybody should be in charge of Lucasfilm, it should be Sam Witwer. That's who I say should be the head of Lucasfilm, is because that he actually knows shit about canon and isn't like a prick about it, so, but that's just me. Yes, that Dave Filoni is the world's most famous fan fiction writer. Yes, we are aware. And also world's dumbest fucking cowboy hat.
Well, I guess we'll
Anyway.
find out. In a what is it? What did they say? The announcement will take place in a couple of weeks.
Few
Yeah,
weeks.
we'll find out in a couple of weeks if this actually comes to pass. By the way, hello, Doctor Doom 1116. I don't know if we're gonna get a teaser for James Mangold's Star Wars film anytime soon, because I don't think he's started really working on it beyond like the pre-production, like writing the script and
Right.
such. So I wouldn't hold your breath for that this year at least. But I mean, he's doing that, and he's got a deal at Paramount, and I don't know if he's ever gonna do Swamp Thing. So James Mangold is a busy man. So anyway, but John, we have a few trailers to talk about. Liz, you saw all the trailers.
Good.
And so let's get into it, John. Let's kind of walk through some trailer talk madness, shall we? Oh, hey
Yes,
Tony, hope you're feeling
so
good. And Eugene,
the first
and your
one
Preakness.
is Death of Robin Hood, which is gonna have Hugh Jackman, who's Australian, as a British icon. Sure. I mean, last time they did that, it went so well. But you know, I mean, Liz, what are your thoughts first? I saw the trailer, but I want to know I'm curious to know your thoughts.
I think it looks really good. I hear what you're saying about him being Australian and all that, but I liked the last Robin Hood movie too. I know nobody else did. I think it looks pretty awesome, but I also think it's kind of funny that Hugh Jackman continues to play like these old men, like these well-known characters, in the ends of their life. But hey, go for it, buddy. I think it looks great. It definitely has an interesting story. It sounds very dark. It's not the Robin Hood we've all grown to know and love. So I'm interested to check it out. But it looks really good.
Yeah, I think it could be a good time. I mean they've already kind of done this, like the whole idea of like Death of Robin Hood thing, famous movie from the 70s, Robin and Marion, which had Sean Connery and Audrey Hepburn, Robert Shaw, Richard Harris. I would say just kind of stick with that, because it's essentially kind of a similar story and probably much better, and more so paralleling the Errol Flynn film, which will always and forever remain the best Robin Hood movie, no matter what. Like, I don't know why people even try anymore. You're never going to get better than the Errol Flynn movie. Like, you're never going to get better than Adventures of Robin Hood. So I don't think they should even try anymore. But even then, I think this looks like a good time. Like, I'm sure it'll be pretty good, pretty fun. So
About fun, but
like, like fun and in like a like I like, not fun, but like it'll be a good, like, it's not going to be like great or anything, but it's a Robin Hood movie at the end of the day, even if it's grim, dark, edgy, something in the way, it'll still be fun. Like, it's still going to have like Robin Hood vibes, I would hope. I hope they're not going to go the way of the fucking Ridley Scott Robin Hood, because that was just wolf. So the Disney one's pretty good. I mean, it's not like amazing or anything, but it's like, I watched it when I was a kid, and I remember rewatching it and I really liked it, but nothing's gonna beat Errol Flynn. Like, that's the best Robin Hood. So yeah, but not the only trailer. We have another one from Mia McKenna Bruce playing Agatha Christie Sleuth in Netflix's Seven Dials. I didn't bother with this one. So
it looks super cute. It's going to be a 3-part. Apparently, it's just going to be 3-episode miniseries. Helena Bonham Carter is in it. There was one actor, I can't remember. Martin Freeman is in it. It looks really, really cute. I love all of the Agatha Christie stories, and so far I have yet to really see any adaptations that have disappointed. So I'm looking forward to this. I think it looks great, and it's going to be on Netflix, so an easy watch for the vast majority of fans. So I think it looks great. I can't wait.
Yeah, I'm sure this will be good. Why do you think it's hard to do a character? I honestly don't, because I feel like most adaptations, they just try to make everything like dark and edgy, and I feel like nobody tries to do anything like fun with it, like entertainingly fun. I mean, the Taron Egerton one like looked fun, but like not in like a good way, and in like a really bad like this looks like a TV production kind of way, which looks worse than the actual TV production of Robin Hood. But you know, I don't know. It's just like, and then same with King Arthur, that like the Charlie Hunnam Guy Ritchie movie was like, oh, look how dark, and like the fact that the best like King Arthur movie was like that one where there was like with time travel and it takes place in modern day, where like the kid who would be king or whatever the fuck that was called. It's just, I don't know. It's just like, I feel like they just don't know. They just try to keep reinventing the legend instead of just kind of doing it, and I don't know, it just seems like that that isn't the way to go. But I don't know. And also that's kind of dumb because then you would have to do like motion capture for everyone if you want to make everybody foxes, but or animals or whatever, but okay. But yeah, that I'm sure this is fun, and I'm sure Death of Robin Hood will be a-okay. But then the final one, we were just talking about your boy. I mean, he just had a hit with It Welcome to Derry, and Andy Muschietti is back in his horror shoes, and it's going to be with Zazie Beetz, slicing and dicing her captors in gory They Will Kill You trailer. I saw this a few days ago.
Me
this
too.
looks like a lot of fun.
Sure does.
I'm still like on the fence with Andy Muschietti because I like everything he's done with It has been good. Everything outside of that has been bad or mid. So this will be like the deal breaker, or like not the deal breaker, the showcase of like if Andy Muschietti can do like non-It related things okay.
Yeah.
Maybe going back to horror is his bread and butter. Just don't do superhero movies. Get rid of him from Batman and just stick with horror stuff, and maybe he should be fine. Because this does look good. This kind of gives me like Ready or Not vibes a little bit.
That's exactly what I said, John. Exactly what I said.
So it looks, and plus it's got a really good cast. And it's got Patricia Arquette in there too. But yeah, this looks like a lot of fun, and I don't know if it's like my most anticipated or anything like that. It's just I'm more skeptical about it because, you know, I like Andy Muschietti, but at the same time, I really don't like Andy Muschietti. So as long as he doesn't have his terrible CGI that plagued It Chapter 2 and It Welcome to Derry, then, and The Flash, maybe we should be okay, but we'll see. And yes, Caleb is right. It doesn't look like a PS2 game, so that's definitely a plus.
Yeah.
So anyway, so let's move on. I think that's it for Movie Talk Madness. Now we move on to MCU Weekly. So now we move on to all the leaks, all the rumors,
all the
things in
it's
regards
right on time.
to
leaky leaks.
It's on schedule, on time. They put up the third X-Men teaser for Doomsday, the official version online, and then the same day, that same French theater, I don't even know if it's a real theater or whatever the thing is, some Marvel intern out there did their job in leaking the fourth teaser for Avengers Doomsday, which now we know, and again, spoiler alert for anybody who might be, you know, thinking like, oh boy, spoiler alert, just so you guys know, we're getting into it now. The Wakandans and the Talokans and the Fantastic Four show up in the fourth teaser. Liz, did you
I did
see this? Okay.
I did.
So we're all on the same page here. So let's talk about it. John, walk us through this, because we can show the stills. We're not going to obviously play the video.
Yes,
maybe we can go through some of the stills.
We want to live.
But yes, and then we'll talk about like the location, because like this looks very different than where you would expect to see Wakandans and Talokans and the Fantastic Four. They're not in their usual setting. So let's talk about it for a moment. John, like what did we see in this?
So this gives a good like rundown in terms of what is in the trailer. In it, we find Shuri M'Baku, aka the man who should have been Black Panther, walking through a desert-like setting with I'm gonna butcher her name, so we're just gonna call her Dora. Right behind them, there are flashes of a new look Namor and Namora. Before King M'Baku introduces himself to a familiar face, Ben Grimm, aka The Thing. The final shot shows Shuri boarding a Wakandan ship as she performs the iconic Wakanda Forever crossed arm pose. I've lost everyone that matters to me, Shuri can be heard saying. A king has his duties to prepare our people for the afterlife. I have mine. And then the sneak peek ends with the Wakandans and Fantastic Four will return in Avengers Doomsday. And then another countdown. So, yeah. Thoughts? Well, let's have the Marvel woman take the reins here to talk about Marvel. So, Liz, I'm sure I assume you've been seeing all the teasers, all the leaked ones,
Yes.
all the ones that have been released.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on this newest one?
I like how I still can't figure out what the actual fuck is going on. That's what's been really, really appealing to me. They're doing a really good job of giving us absolutely no information while giving us these little teasers. It's just wetting my whistle, quite frankly. It's getting me excited for it. We kind of talked earlier about, some of our predictions and stuff. I still don't believe that this is going to be one of the higher grossing Marvel films to come out. I think people are a little burnt out with Marvel. We're a little annoyed with Marvel right now. So I don't think they're going to get the numbers that they're expecting to. But if they keep throwing out little breadcrumbs like this, who knows? Maybe other Marvel fans are just getting a little excitable like I am. So I don't know what to think. I don't know what the hell's going on. I don't know what the context is for any of these settings. I don't even know if everything's all on the same timeline because, again, with Marvel, they love we're messing with the timeline stuff. We're messing with the multiverse stuff. We've got aliens. We've got, all kinds of stuff going on. So I'm eating it all up, but I can't figure any of it out. That's where I'm at right now.
I guess that's kind of the point.
Yeah.
This is the first one without kind of a parental vibe because you had the first trailer with Steve Rogers and his kid. Then you had Thor and Love, his daughter. Yeah. And then you kind of had a bit of a parental vibe because you had Professor X, who's kind of a dad to the X-Men, and Cyclops, who's a leader to the X-Men. So that's both parental kind of vibes. Magneto maybe kind of is a father figure to, his Brotherhood of Mutants.
Well, I also think it's interesting because, and I think I've said this before on the show too, of the people that they're bringing back, 50% of them we don't like and we don't want to see again. It's mainly Cyclops. I'm talking about you, James. So when I saw that, I was like, ugh. I was immediately pissed. I was excited and then I was immediately pissed off because I just don't want to fucking see James ever again in that role as Cyclops. He wanted to leave the franchise. He left the franchise. Now he's coming back because he ain't got nothing else going on in his life. That's not my problem, James.
Even though he's in Sonic, he's been in 3 hit Sonic movies. So,
but that's what pissed me off. So it pissed me off that he's back. I'm not happy about it. But I feel that way about a couple of other choice cast members as well. But hey, again, they're doing their Marvel thing, and they're trying to get us excited while also leaving us completely in the dark, and they're doing a damn fine job of it so far.
Can I just give my reaction to this? Because for me, this here is the most different thing that we've done. Because if anything, the first couple ones, the one with Steve Rogers, not Captain America anymore, Steve Rogers and Thor were clearly both, obviously the kid parental theme and all that, but also it was about nostalgia in a lot of ways. Then the X-Men, definitely nostalgia, bringing back, the Fox X-Men characters and stuff. And you talk about legacy in a way, that's kind of the theme amongst all three of them. And if anything, I think here, while this is different in the sense that we get a lot more characters here. The most we've seen in terms of number of characters in any of these, you got 2 in the first, 2 in the second, then you had 3 in the third. I'm not counting the Sentinels as characters necessarily. Here you get to see King M'Baku. Love seeing King M'Baku. Like, love the idea of that moving forward. You see Shuri as the Black Panther. Then you have clearly Namor as the Talokan King, and you get Ben Grimm as the Thing. That's the only member. I mean, I'm guessing the other Fantastic Four are not that far behind, unless they split them up somehow. And I think we can kind of maybe transition to talking about the locale, because they're all in the desert, and the desert looks different yet closely
I feel like they're on
resembles in
another
some
planet.
ways. I mean, yeah, well, what I was going to say is it's probably not even another planet. It looks to me like, and John, if you go to the next article, we could talk about this here. This looks closest to the void that we saw in Deadpool and Wolverine. Like, are we getting and like the void here? Or because we know where they shot this. This was all in the Middle East. We remember seeing them talk about this. Now, having seen the behind the scenes photos from the actors, we know they also had Simu Liu, they had Sam Wilson's Captain America, so maybe his team of Avengers, and a bunch of other actors, from that are in this movie that we know are in this movie, also shot in the desert. So we know there's going to be incursions. We know they're going to end up together on, maybe by the end of the movie they end up on, what's it, Battle World, right? So you guys want to kind of take a shot at, like, maybe that's where we're headed? Like, does it tell you anything more about the story of the movie? Because it's also like in this teaser, it seems like all these folks are not in a really good place, but the legacy theme kind of continues on through, like the narration and the Talokan King and all that. So
I agree with you that it's giving Void vibes, but I don't think that's where they are. I think they're on an alternate planet or in an alternate universe. Again, if you kind of look at each of those trailers, I also don't believe that they're all on the same timeline either. At some point, those worlds are going to collide. Things are going to merge. But where we're at right now with the teasers, I think everybody's in a different spot. And I also think it's interesting that they haven't shown us any RGJ yet either. That's going to be really wild when that finally happens. If they're going to show it to us at all, if they're going to save everything for the movie, they won't, but it'd be nice if they did. So yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of questions.
I just feel like this is sort of like a denouement of, like, we got like higher. Oh, we got Steve Rogers back. Boom. Okay, that's pretty high. Oh my God, Steve Rogers. Holy fuck, he's coming back. And then, oh shit, we got Thor coming back, and he's actually going to be serious and not like a joke. Hopefully.
No, but they also buried the lead with that one too. When the whole time they kept saying to us, we're not getting Chris Evans. Chris Evans isn't coming back. Chris Evans, and all of us were like, yeah, he is. We know he is. But that's the first teaser you put out. Like, that was kind of dumb.
I'm just saying, like, in terms of, like, and then you got X-Men, you have all the Cyclops fans fucking losing their shit because, like, oh my God, he's actually powerful this time around, and you got fucking Magneto, and you got, and then you get Namor, the Wakandans, and Fantastic Four. Okay? Like, you have this ultimate hype train. You have fucking X-Men. And then you go to fucking the Wakandans and Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
Okay? Like, why not, like, keep the fucking hype train? Like, I'm not saying nobody's excited, but, like, for, like, Wakandans, because, like, Shuri's a good character, M'Baku's great, and Fantastic Four was pretty good, but it's just, like, where it's like, oh my fuck, these characters that we fucking, like, grew up with, and, like, went further and further back. I mean, sure, you got Chris Evans and Thor, and then, bam, you got the fucking Fox X-Men coming back yet again, and then you just kind of lose us a little bit of just like, oh, the characters that were just introduced like a couple of years ago or like last year.
No, but I think the exciting part was the fact that they're meeting the Thing. That was what was supposed to be like, oh fuck, like what is going on? Like,
oh my God, the thing that we knew was going to happen happened. Oh shit.
I'm thinking that was their thought process of why they did it the way that they did that. But yeah, again, more questions than answers, but
I guess that's the point.
I'm here. Can I say though, just to kind of move the plot forward a little bit on the conversation, and John, you can kind of click across to the art. I don't know. We were talking about the void for a bit, but essentially, there was a rumor out there a week or so ago that we're not going to get just 4 of these. That we're actually going to get maybe 5 and possibly more, and
mean, it's still so early. I don't see why we wouldn't get more.
Right, and then there were mixed reports, and it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to figure out who to believe at this point, because they've changed the order of these already on a couple of occasions. Like we thought we were gonna start off with, not with the Chris Evans one, with something else, and that changed. And maybe the second one we thought was not gonna be Thor, then it was Thor. But there's two other ones that have been out there, like rumored. There's been a rumor about we might get to see Loki and the TVA. And then there's been rumors about, where are the 616 Avengers? Whether you're talking about the new Avengers or Captain America's, like Sam Wilson's Captain America's Avengers team, as well as getting one with Doctor Doom. Like we get our first look at Doctor Doom in one of these like vignette sort of teasers. So my question would be, do you guys think we're getting a fifth and a sixth one? And if so, what's coming up next? Like, what is going to be this time next week? What are we going to be talking about? Are we talking Loki? Are we talking about Doctor Doom? And then follow up to that would be, we know that they're going to hold on to like the first full teaser trailer, like with actually giving us like what feels like a normal trailer until maybe the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So do you think we're getting more? And then if so, is Doom coming up next? Are we getting Loki? Like, where do you guys sit on that?
I think Super Bowl will be the reveal of Doom. That's when we're going to get Doom. I do think there's going to be a fifth or a sixth. I think I do agree that some of the fans think that like, oh, maybe some of the Fantastic Four members have been split and they're going to different worlds because they have that capability. So I can see that happening where they reveal like, somebody meeting Sue or somebody meeting Mr. Fantastic. So I wouldn't hold that against them. I think that's a definite possibility. But I think if we do see RDJ, it'll be at the Super Bowl, and then after the Super Bowl from there on, we're going to get actual trailers. That's what I'm thinking is going to happen for sure.
Yeah, I could definitely see that as well. I'm
sorry, not to cut you off, but I completely anticipate that we will be seeing Loki. The TVA is essentially responsible for all of this. If anybody has caught up with that series, so that's how they're going to explain everything. That's how they're going to wrap it up and make it all make sense. So how much of Loki we're going to see, I don't know, but it's definitely going to harken back to that show and that plot line. So somebody had said, are we going to see Owen Wilson? Probably. I don't expect, because again, we got the TVA in Deadpool and Wolverine. So I think it only makes sense that they'll bring them back into this as well. Sorry, John.
Yeah. No, it's just like, I'm just probably going to get one more trailer, and then whether that's like part of this whole pantheon of trailers.
Well, let me put it this. Maybe
we're gonna get that fifth trailer for Doom, and it's gonna be for the Super Bowl. I don't know, but we'll just have to see.
Can I? I'm just gonna make a couple of predictions here, right? So we've been talking about how there was a report out there that they're gonna give us the first proper trailer at the Super Bowl. Now, this upcoming weekend is Wild Card Weekend for the NFL playoffs. The next weekend will be the divisional games, and you got the championship weekend, and then a couple of weeks later. So we get to basically by February, we're getting into the Super Bowl time. I'm thinking we're getting not just 5 or 6, we might be getting like 7 or 8. Like they're gonna give us one each week till the Super Bowl, and then the Super Bowl we get the full trailer. And so we probably will get to see the 616 Avengers teams, like both of them, maybe separately or together, or whatever the case is. We probably do get a Loki TVA dedicated one. We might even get to see Deadpool and Wolverine show up in one of these. And then you get to the Super Bowl, and either they give us Doom as the last one before the full trailer, or like you said, Liz, they save Doom until the actual full trailer. Like, you want to hold on to that as long as you possibly can. And we've already been seeing patterns emerge here, and they've clearly already shown us with Steve Rogers, like one of the actors that wasn't in the Chair announcement last year. So I bet you we might get to see Peggy Carter at some point. And we don't know how all of these pieces fit together just yet. We just have an idea. But the fact that, CB the Legend's grandma is asking them about Doomsday goes to show you that Marvel's marketing tactics here, their plan is working. So whichever direction they go, I'm just thinking At this point, why stop? Like, just like this is all building towards something. So like, why have like 4 or 5 of these, then have a gap, and then let the the hype die? Because the rumor mill will swirl, but just keep giving us more until we get the actual full trailer. And we're only weeks away at this point from the Super Bowl. The NFL playoffs are starting, so why not? That's what I'm thinking. And again, nobody has told me anything, and I'm not in the know. But this is, I'm just thinking, like, why not go all the way? Like, why stop and have a break for a few weeks, and then you lose that momentum before the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
So
yeah, that makes sense to me. I like I said, I definitely think we're going to be seeing more. I don't know that it's going to be one every week leading up to the Super Bowl, but I definitely think at least 1 or 2 more are coming for sure.
Yeah. Like this is the kind of thing where like Marvel's going to spend more money marketing this movie than they had spent on Endgame, which is the highest amount any movie studio has ever spent on marketing a movie, for a movie that probably didn't need it, but it became the highest grossing movie of all time until Avatar retook that spot. I think they're gonna spend the money, and they need to. Like, they everything rides on this movie, and Sony is spending their money marketing Spider-Man. So it's not like Disney's having to spend all the money on like 2 different MCU movies. That's the benefit of releasing just one Marvel Studios Disney distributed movie, and then you have Sony distributing Spider-Man, even though Marvel Studios makes it. Like, Sony is putting the money up for that. So and that when you cut down the quantity of movies, that I think is helping them now basically put all their marbles in this Avengers basket. The only thing would be like, is it gonna overshadow Spider-Man too much? Because I have a feeling we might get a Doomsday tease at the end, as like the end credit scene for Spider-Man, so that we really get excited about, does Tom Holland get to meet Tony Stark, who's not actually Tony Stark? Anyway, now we're just going on.
How's that gonna go? You look awfully familiar, sir.
Yeah, can you imagine if he kills off Tom Holland Spider-Man? Probably not, because he's got a trilogy of movies to come. But like, I'm just saying, that would be like,
maybe he gets replaced by a variant that looks exactly like him. And then
what?
Oh,
it's all possible. It's all possible. Hello, Hunter Iggy. I'm shocked China ranked Doomsday number 1. Are you guys shocked that China's excited about Doomsday the most of any Hollywood movies releasing in the Middle Kingdom this year? I'm not.
I don't know. I thought we got a pattern of like, oh yeah, they're done with American movies, and now it seems like they're not. So
it seems like they're done with like getting really excited for every American movie, but like Jurassic World did well. Avengers Endgame still holds the record, but Zootopia 2 is going to take that over in the next week or so. Probably this week.
That's so wild. That is such a wild sentence. It's just so crazy.
I mean, and clearly these Marvel movies they're still excited for. I feel like Spider-Man will probably do well as well in China, but I'm not surprised by this. I don't think we're getting Miles Morales this soon, which is why I don't think Tom Holland's character ends up dying in this. I mean, why do that? It would just be interesting to see him come across, Tony, like what does he call him? Mr. Stark. Oh, Mr. Stark, and like it's not Mr. Stark. But anyway, we're all waiting for that. Hello, Movie Spud. But that's it for MCU Weekly for now, I believe. And we move on to the next thing,
which is our one bold prediction. We have prediction stuff to be talked about. What we think is going to happen with the box office for 2026.
So the way we're going to kind of structure this segment, this is something a little bit different, right? So I mean, I'm sure you guys have probably seen other shows or podcasts do it, where we're talking about the year ahead at the movies. Now, if you pull up this report here, John, I just wanted to kind of go through this briefly before we get to our prediction, and I'll kind of explain how we're going to play this out. So there's a report here from Screen Dollars. They're putting out this amazing newsletter, which if you guys haven't already, check it out. Screen Dollars, not a very well-known name, but they put out a report about the first quarter of 2026, and then we can kind of use that as our launching pad for the rest of the year. But the big thing I wanted to mention here and talk about, and I want to get your take on this, guys. There's a couple of things in here. Like, if you pause there for a moment, John, the first quarter of the year is looking like it's going to be a significant improvement in 2025. And if you look at the trend from 2023 all the way to last year, every year the first quarter of the year has gone down in terms of the amount of money that movies have made at the box office. And this year, it seems like for the first time in 3 years, it's still not going to be as high as 2024, but it's going to go up. And then if you scroll down and keep on going here, John, I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that not only do we have an Avatar movie still playing in theaters and Zootopia doing well, which gives us like a list of movies where Disney's got a big presence between Avatar and I mean Hoppers is coming out, a Pixar movie coming out later, and then you have of course other franchises in there as well. You got Sony with 28 Years Later. Amazon MGM has that Chris Pratt movie, Mercy, but they also have Project Hail Mary. That's a big blockbuster. Like we haven't seen a Fast and Furious movie in a couple of years. Those tend to come out in Q1 as early as March, and we haven't seen that in a while. So Universal Pictures obviously doesn't have one of those this year either, but Warner Brothers has a couple of their movies like Wuthering Heights and The Bride. Scream 7 might be probably one of the highest earning movies for Paramount in what is a terrible slate of movies this year, whether you like that or not. But last year you had a few big misses, like Captain America Brave New Bold underperformed. 198 is still a good number, but it underperformed. Mufasa the Lion King was a holdover from the previous year. We're going to rank Dogman as part of our Tier List Tuesday coming up later. That came out last year. But you look at it, like there were some big misses, like Snow White came out and really did not make the kind of money that we thought it was going to make. But if you keep scrolling down here, John, let's talk about how this year is going to end up doing better than last year. And you can see here, Amazon MGM has a 14% potential, like their prediction here, screen dollars. That's how much of the pie Amazon MGM is going to have. A lot of it driven by Project Hail Mary. And if you keep scrolling, they talk about the importance of Project Hail Mary. I don't know how familiar you guys are with this movie, because it's based on an Andy Weir novel.
I know it's based on a book. It's got Ryan Gosling in it. It looks really good.
Yeah,
and it's Ryan Gosling in it. There's already been a couple of trailers out.
It's the same people that did The Martian, yes?
Yes,
yeah.
The same writer. And the reason why, let me kind of set the table here, and I want to get you guys' opinion on this. So we have talked about how the prediction is that this year is going to be a better year than 2025, and we're going to get off to a great start because they're expecting the movies, in the first 3 months of the year to do better than they did last year. And now I'm going to add another element to this. Warner Brothers is in the process of being selling itself to Netflix, and we've talked about Netflix will probably, whether they do it in the next couple, as soon as they get hold of Warner Brothers in 2027, 2028, or they do it over time, they're gonna probably end up cutting short how long Warner Brothers movies play in theaters. Warner Brothers puts out about 15 to 20 movies a year in theaters, and the amount of money Warner Brothers makes is roughly a quarter of all the money Hollywood makes at the box office in North America. That's a big chunk that could go missing or be significantly diminished. And that would be like Netflix owning a traditional movie studio. But Apple and Amazon MGM have way more money than Netflix probably will ever have. And they're both committed to 15 to 20 movies a year, at the box office. Now, this year, Amazon MGM will be putting out like 14 or 16, something like that, which is their biggest number since they made that announcement. Obviously, they're still working on the next James Bond and stuff, but Project Hail Mary could be a bellwether for, Warner Brothers takes a step back. Paramount is not that, big this year. But one of these new players steps in, and maybe there's a light at the end of the tunnel. Like maybe the players are changing and we will still get plenty of movies at the box office. Maybe it's not all doom and gloom. And that's where Project Hail Mary could really make a difference, because if that movie ends up being a blockbuster, then all of a sudden we're off and running. I mean, I'm just trying to say here, the idea that Project Hail Mary itself is more important to the theatrical business than we might realize, because if DC movies are the only things that Warner Brothers are putting out in theaters once they're under Netflix, if Lord of the Rings are the only things, then there's going to be a big gap in the number of movies that are playing in theaters. And if Warner Brothers is putting out less, do you think Apple, which did really well with F1 last year, that was their first big hit in theaters, and now with Amazon putting out more movies, do you think that they can kind of step in and take over? And how much does Project Hail Mary matter for that? Because if Amazon sees a bunch of flops, they might choose to be like, we tried. Where do you guys land on this? Do you feel like Amazon MGM could become one of those bigger like studios that really take over, like the gap that might be left behind by Warner Brothers not releasing as many theatrical movies down the road? I mean,
I don't know if you want to go first.
Yeah, whoever wants. You could take it, Liz, if you want to.
Go ahead, John.
I don't know. It's just kind of I don't know. Hopefully this is actually a win because it feels like Amazon MGM, they've just kind of been in this kind of slump. Even good movies like Accountant 2 just kind of don't make not to say they didn't make money, it's just they kind of just are forgotten about like almost immediately. Sure, you've got something like American Fiction, but that wasn't really a big that wasn't like a moneymaker type of thing. That was just a very well done drama. And then you have Challengers was kind of big, and then Red One was famous for all the wrong reasons.
Yep.
Same with Saltburn.
It was.
And then you have, I'm a working man. I work. I'm a man.
Which was actually one of the highest grossing ones last year.
And The Beekeeper. They got him for 2 on that one.
Yeah. So it just seems like kind of mushy, and now it seems like Project Hail Mary might be big. They have the Chris Miller and Phil Lord and Chris Miller behind it. They writer of they have Andy Weir. They got Ryan Gosling in it, so it's a beloved book, so that might get a lot of people behind it. So it's definitely Caleb, you fucking hate Chris Nolan, so that's not a fucking surprise. So I think this is definitely a step in the right direction. We'll see if that, it does work out, because it's entirely possible that it doesn't. Maybe Project Hail Mary fails, the book people hate it, maybe me not, we'll see. But I think this is, again, this isn't a bad batch of movies, but considering that in 1 year, WB fucking roasted this entire list.
Well,
so,
it's just not consistent as far as, they're certainly not churning out blockbusters year after year. I mean, I've seen every film on this list, and they're more different than the one next to it. So I think consistency is key as well,
Yeah. I mean, it's also you look at some of the stuff they've got on the way, because this is the list that they've got over the last couple of years, the stuff that Amazon MGM has already put out. But now they've got a Highlander on the way. We know that they're putting Voltron directly on streaming, but it's also, if you look at in this article, to talk about how Amazon tends to give their movies at least 30 to 45 days playing in theaters. Netflix, we know, only really puts things out for maybe a couple of days, maybe a week, if two, at best. So this whole idea of a longer theatrical window also is something that, when Amazon puts a movie in theaters, they tend to give it a longer theatrical window, kind of like Disney. Disney movies, if they do really well, could be playing in theaters for 2 months or longer, which is some of the longest times of any studio out there. So I think in that sense it also really matters, because remember, we were really worried for a while when Apple was releasing movies and they're all flopping in theaters, whether they were good or bad, from what was the Martin Scorsese one, The Killers of the Flower Moon, to the Napoleon one. Which again, all had big people, names in front and behind the camera, and even with Argyle, which had I don't know, how did that turn out so bad? It blows your mind. But then all of a sudden F1 comes out, and now you're maybe Apple broke the code. Now they've kind of figured out maybe how to make this work. And whether they missed or made the right choice with putting The Wolves on Apple TV directly rather than putting it in theaters with Brad Pitt and George Clooney, we will never know. But I feel like Amazon MGM hasn't really had a big blockbuster releasing in theaters, because they haven't done a James Bond movie yet since they got the control from the Broccolis. That's going to happen in the next few years. But Project Hail Mary is really that first test. So I do hope that it does. I feel like if it does well, that means now, instead of maybe getting say 3 years from now 15, 20 movies from Amazon, from Warner Brothers and Paramount, we're getting 15 Apple movies, we're getting 15 Amazon MGM movies. And sure, we would still like to have 15 Warner Brothers movies in theaters, but if you're talking about just simply times of the year where there weren't many movies to go see, Liz, you go see movies every week, or you try to at least. And even last year, where a lot of people thought we're finally out of this period of time, when whether it's from the strikes or from COVID, that there were 2-3 months of the year where there were no big movies playing, September or February.
I think you're right, though. I think there is something to be said about the length of time that they're available in theaters. And again, I think that's hubris on some studios' parts where they think, oh, if we only have it in theaters for 2 weeks, a month at most, that's going to force people to see it. They're going to make it a priority to go see it. Well, audiences, regular Joe Schmoes, don't have any way of knowing that you're only going to keep a movie in the theater for a certain length of time. So I think it behooves, Disney does that. Disney keeps the movies in theaters for longer, because they recognize that there isn't a new kids film in particular coming out week after week. A lot of families are clamoring for any children's theater, any children's film, because it is an event. It's a family event. It's a big deal to take your kid, and for mom and dad to take me, and I get my big box of popcorn, and get to go see a movie on the big screen. That is still a big thing. So I know plenty of families. It doesn't matter what if it's a family friendly film, if it could be the worst piece of drivel you've ever seen, they're going to go and take their kids because they don't get that very many opportunities to go do that. So Disney's very smart in that sense that they keep these films out for a very long time. But again, I think it comes down to advertising as well. Word of mouth marketing is extremely helpful to get butts in seats, but also, again, when you said, when you've got star power like this, everybody likes a space movie. Everybody likes a comedy, something that looks like a comedy. Everybody loves Ryan Gosling. So they're going to go see the fuck out of this film. Hopefully it's as good as it looks. I'm really looking forward to seeing it. Hopefully I can see it maybe 2 or 3 times. But I think a lot of theaters just have, not theaters, but a lot of studios have different ideas as far as, why they keep their films in for whatever length of time. But I agree that does play a big part of it as well. And I personally, I would say at the very least, keep it in for a month. But the fact that I'll go to the theater and have an interest in something and it's gone after a week is like, well, shit, they make it kind of difficult when they play like that.
Yeah. And just to kind of put a period on this part of the conversation, because we got to get to our predictions as well for the year. Quick question for you guys. It seems like this year might be the first year in a long time, especially since the pandemic, where we'll have no significant gaps in the release calendar, because that's part of that whole more movies and more spread out over the course of the year, so we don't have like a 4-week period where people feel like there's nothing significant they want to go see in theaters. Because that usually, if you go see a big movie, then that has a knock-on effect with smaller movies that people are not as aware of. But you go to the theaters, you're like, oh, that looked interesting too. And you see a few trailers and then you're more exposed to it. And I'm talking about like the average person who's not really like always, talking about movies and watching every trailer that comes out, like us, who are, you would say, more hardcore fans. But as a whole, it seems like this year is going to be the best one yet for that kind of thing, where not only do we have a lot of big movies coming out, we have them spread out all over the the calendar. That being said, do you think this year we can cross 10 billion at the box office, something that we haven't done since before the pandemic? Like, John, especially because between you and I, we've talked about this now for the last couple of weeks. Last year we missed the mark. We didn't even cross 9 billion. The year before it didn't happen. And it hasn't been the case since the pandemic that we have hit that $10 billion magic number at the North American box office. Do you think this year with the Project Hail Mary, with Avengers Doomsday, with obviously the Spider-Man movie, Supergirl, with Clayface, Mandalorian and Grogu, you have a new Toy Story coming out, you have another Pixar movie beyond that, as well as Minions 3. I was seeing there's the Angry Birds 3 coming out later this year. There's the third Jumanji movie. There's an Ebenezer Scrooge movie. Do you feel like 10 billion is possible this year?
Possible, sure. Anything is possible. Likely? I don't know. I feel like we're gonna have a couple surprise bombs that not bombs, but like they're not gonna make as much. So like, because the thing is, like, I'm excited for a lot of these movies, and then you have a bunch. You have like the whole like Street Fighter versus Mortal Kombat situation, which is definitely interesting.
Devil Wears Prada also, that one.
Devil Wears Prada, that's gonna make a billy, 100%. But I think it's likely, but I don't think it's gonna get there. Maybe like close to it. Like maybe because that'll make it like 9 billion, but I don't think we're gonna get to 10 billion. I don't think so.
I'm willing to bet that we do hit that mark. I think we're getting 10 billion. I mean, Liz, if you were betting, let's say,
So-
I don't know, $10, do you think 10 is possible?
Yeah, again, based on just those 10 films that we listed, just those 10 alone,
Yeah.
I think it's highly possible. I really do.
I mean, we didn't even mention Michael. Like, that's another billion. The Michael Jackson biopic is probably another $1 billion
That's
movie.
gonna be, they're gonna go nuts for it in China. That's for damn sure. But no, I'm trying to be. I do think so. And I was joking before with the guys about predictions. I suck at making predictions. I don't know what the hell. I don't know which way the wind blows. But jokingly, I said I think Supergirl is going to do better than Superman. And you know what? It might. It might, because just the hype of Superman, I think, really got people intrigued in that character, and everybody loves a sassy, hot blonde. So why not in a cute little skirt? So I think it might do better than Superman. So, just with those handful of titles that we threw out there, they already have really good word of mouth. They've already started the marketing. It might be a surprising year at the box office. I think it will. I think it'll do it.
Yeah, I just feel like there's, like you guys are saying in the chat too, there's too many big movies. Like Moana, the live action remake, which Moana 2 broke records the year before. So yeah, $10 billion I think is more possible than ever before. Having said all that, we are also currently now in the award season, Liz. We talked
about the Digger. I think people are going to go nuts.
Honestly, I'm stoked for
really
that.
do.
I'm stoked. I am stoked for any movie where Tom Cruise makes himself look ugly. I am stoked.
He's comedy for so long, so the fact that he signed on for something and they're being so mysterious.
It's going to be Les Grossman 2 Electric Boogaloo. That's what it's going to be. He's going to be ugly. He's in a comedy. Like it's going to be great. It's going to be, and it's by Alejandro Iñárritu, who I don't think has ever done a comedy either. I mean, Birdman had like comedy aspects, but like not a full on. So this is like either going to be like the greatest fucking movie of the year or like one of the like biggest bombs.
I mean, and he's gonna go all out promoting it, and I just can't wait for him to like dance to another Ludacris song. So it's gonna happen. No, I don't think I need to charge John for 20 Doomsday tickets. I think John's gonna end up eventually going to see it because he's gonna give in and be like, I have to see it. I have to see what all the buzz is about.
No, he won't. He won't. Just because he's that dedicated to his spitefulness that the fact that
I haven't seen K-pop Demon Hunters.
Yeah, the fact
I haven't bent over the knee for that shit.
Like the gauntlet being dropped, he's like now he's dead set. Absolutely not. He'll go to his death before he sees.
The more you push it, the more I am willing to never see it. Not even like pirate it. I'm just like, no, I'm never gonna see this movie. I haven't seen Deadpool and Wolverine either. I haven't seen that either. I'm not going to see that.
Bombed on it, but it bums me out. You won't see it. It's so good.
The spite fuels me. When will you guys realize this? Also, it's very apropos that Tony Randall's name ends with 666, but I think that was intentional.
John is a man of the people. If the people are named John, says Figure Drawing. Yes. Very well said. I wanted to pivot because we've talked about basically the box office and again how much this year might help improve the chances of the future of Hollywood. Like things looked pretty dark and gloomy last year, and we thought we were like in the clear.
So dark,
but
sure enough,
I mean, and even now,
universe.
Even now, there's still like a lot happening. Obviously, Netflix is still in the process of buying Warner Brothers. Paramount might have a thing to say about it. But Liz, we love the awards season. Oscar time is one of our favorite times of the year. We've been talking about it for a while, and I figured let's kind of transition the conversation there because we're about to talk about our one bold prediction for 2026 at the movies. We're all gonna like make some insane prediction, and then we'll kind of come back to it at the end of the year and talk about how close were we. Maybe you got it right. Maybe we were way off the mark. And while we do that, we want you guys to also make your one bold prediction and leave it in the comments down below. I know a lot of you guys are in the live chat, and that's great. But in order for us to kind of bring those back into the show and talk about them later in the year, I mean, we'll go over some of those on this Friday, just to kind of like set the bar about what you guys think. Leave your bold prediction in the comments down below.
40 years from now, me, like, you can have Paul Giamatti play me, but he's going to be long dead by then.
And the idea here would be, like Tony and everybody else watching, Caleb, Stacy, and even Steven and everybody else in the chat, give us your bold prediction in the comments below about it could be just one bold prediction. One thing that a lot of people don't think will happen. It doesn't need to be about the box office. It could be like maybe like, the biggest movie of the year. Is it going to be, which movie is going to make the most money? Is it going to be The Odyssey? Is it going to be Avengers Doomsday? Is it going to be Spider-Man Brand New Day? Is it going to be Supergirl? Or something else entirely? Maybe something at the Oscars, like who's going to win Best Picture, maybe, or something else. Like Paramount's going to
this year.
Like Paramount might come in and ultimately win the bid for Warner Brothers Discovery, something like that. More Katna, hello, welcome to the chat. We'll be talking about Sebastian Stan later, but give us your one bold prediction in the comments down below. We'll bring that into the show on Friday to go over them, and then we'll kind of like check our notes at the end of the year. But right now, we're gonna give our bold predictions. So 3 in total, 1 for each of us. We're gonna hang ourselves out to dry. We'll see. Call us crazy. And with that, John, let's kind of get into your bold prediction for 2026, which is Avengers Doomsday and Spider-Man Brand New Day won't join the $1 billion club. So you're saying both movies will not make $1 billion.
Correct.
What do you have to say for yourself?
I think they'll get close. Kind of like how I think Avatar Fire and Ash will get close to $2 billion, but I don't think it'll get there. I said that from when Way of Water came out. I'm like, okay, the next movie's not going to make $2 billion. It's going to get close to $2 billion, but it's not going to. I've been kind of on the fence. Like, I've been like joked like, oh, this thing's gonna make $3 billion because the fucking X-Men are coming back, nostalgia bait. But like, I think what 2025 showed us is like people are, I wouldn't say wisening up, because people are still gonna. You got the lowest common denominator that'll still go fucking see this movie 12 times and. Like, oh my god, there goes the X-Men. Oh my god, there goes Chris Evans. Oh my god, just like, the thing, consume product and wait for next product. Like those types of people. But hey, ignorance is bliss, so good for them. But I also think at the same time I don't think we're gonna get there. Doomsday is obviously more like, I don't think Spider-Man Brand New Day is gonna get $1 billion, because the reason that No Way Home hit $1 billion was because of Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire. That was and like you had, Doc Ock and Sandman and Electro and all these other characters coming back from the older movies. Nostalgia bait was a big one. Now, that's the only thing I'm like a little iffy on with Doomsday. Can the nostalgia bait get them to $1 billion? Maybe. But I just got this gut feeling that I'm like, I don't think they're going to get there. I don't think they're going to get, they're going to get close. I think maybe like 800 to 900 million. It's still going to make a lot of money. But I think people are just kind of reaching a point where they're getting not sick of superheroes, because I feel like there are smaller things here and there that prove people are not totally sick of superhero fatigue. But James Gunn has said this many times. People are not really getting superhero fatigue. It's bad movie fatigue. Like, they're sick of like the same assembly line movies over and over and over again, and not having a creative vision behind them. They all look bland and gray, no depth of focus. It's all the same shit over and over and over again. And the fact that the Russo brothers do not have a creative filmmaking bone in their bodies, I don't think Doomsday is going to get there. Now, Spider-Man Brand New Day, I think it'll be I hope it's a good movie. I think it'll be like kind of maybe a little unique, but like Daniel Destin Cretton, he did good with Shang-Chi. And he'll, the whole practicality of it and the web slinging and more grounded street level, even though you have like 17 other MCU characters that are going to fucking appear in the movie. even then, I don't think either of them are going to get $1 billion. Now, I'll gladly eat crow at the end of the year. That's fine. It's, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I just have I got this gut feeling inside of me that I don't think they're going to hit $1 billion, even with, China. Even with China's like most excited, movie of the year is Avengers Doomsday. I don't think they're going to get there.
Okay.
No, I agree. I completely agree.
Wait, you think both of you guys think neither of these movies are making $1 billion?
Yes, sir. That is true. That is correct.
Wow. I would be thinking more like, okay, maybe they don't make $1.5, $2 billion. I can see Spider-Man brand, because remember, guys, the last two movies, the last Avengers movie made over $2 billion. Granted, that was Endgame.
Yeah, but that was before phases 4, 5, and 6, buddy. Like that
but also we have to take into account streaming as well. How many people these days now say, "Oh, it's all right if I miss it, I'll catch it on Disney Plus." These are both Disney ventures. People are going to say, "I'll wait for it to come on streaming." They especially with like Monique is trying to say, there is hero fatigue. I think a lot of people are gonna. It's not gonna fit in my schedule this time around. I got streaming. It's not a big. I don't see him hitting the bill anymore. I really don't.
I feel like there's no world in which Doomsday does not make at least $1 billion. And I feel like Spider-Man Brand New Day. Only one Spider-Man movie with Tom Holland has not made $1 billion, and that was Homecoming. Every single one since. In fact, the last one, No Way Home, made almost $2 billion, 1.9. And Disney gives
partly because
their
of
movies like 60
Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield.
Well, fair, but like still, it's Tom. And this movie has the Punisher. It's got the Punisher. It's got probably multiple mutants, including whichever one Sadie Sink is playing, and it's gonna have multiple villains, including you got like Scorpion coming back, I think, right? So, and I'm sure we're gonna have some kind of Avengers Doomsday tease at the end as well. Like people are gonna go see this stuff. And Disney gives their movies 30 to 60 day release windows. So, I don't know. I disagree with it, but again, we'll have to leave it there for now. That's a pretty bold prediction. I think that you have mission accomplished.
You asked for a bold prediction, so I gave it to you.
I know you did. You did fair enough. And again, a reminder for you guys watching: if you're watching live or even after the fact, you can drop your prediction, your bold prediction, in the comments below, and we'll bring those in, and we'll go through all of ours towards the end of the year, especially with the whole Doomsday stuff. I'm like, let's see if I bet you before the end of the year, Doomsday actually makes $1 billion. Not even going to 2027 at this point. But Liz, let's talk about yours, because yours is even more out there. Because I was like, there is an.
Like I said, I don't know which way the wind blows. So I said, what could be the most outrageous shit of all time? And I happened to just see a headline about them talking about making a new Ghost Rider film. So I said, who would they cast for that? You know what? RDJ, because why not? Apparently he's the only thing that Marvel has in their canon anymore. I will modify it slightly. It's either going to be RDJ or it's going to be Chris Evans, because apparently those are the only two actors that Marvel gives a fuck about, and they need them to carry all of their films. So let's keep bringing them back again until they're 90. So I'm just having a little fun. I thought I'd throw that out there because in what world wouldn't that work, right? I mean,
come on. What does Chris Evans have on the horizon? Fucking Materialist 2? Come on now. Like, what the fuck does he have?
He's got a new baby on the way. Band's got to pay those bills. So why not? Why wouldn't he? Marvel comes a calling. He's going to pick up the phone every damn time.
Oh, hey, Brandon. Thank you for tuning in. We love it. And yeah, thanks for subscribing. Again, I agree with Brandon. There's no way Doomsday does not make at least $1 billion. But RDJ getting cast as the MCU Ghost Rider would be like one of those. The only way I can see one of those out of left field moments that nobody's gonna see coming. I think if we get a Ghost Rider in Avengers Doomsday, it's more likely to be the Nicolas Cage version. But that's the only way. There's the only way we get RDJ playing a Ghost Rider in the MCU would be if he's playing a Ghost Rider variant in Doomsday.
Having a little fun here.
And then he immediately gets killed.
I know you guys did do a fan cast for that. Who were your top predictions for fan cast? Because for me, I could see like Jeremy Allen White,
Norman Reedus in there. I think we had Austin Butler too.
I think we had Nick Cage as an honorable mention. So Nick Cage was an honorable mention. Yeah.
I forget though.
But you know what? That's a good reason for you guys to go back and watch that Fancast Friday episode, because we did do a Fancast.
Grab it real quick.
But I mean, for me,
in the chat, but I feel like Keanu's he's over it. He's not going to do any. I think.
Well, Keanu's got a script for Constantine 2.
Huh?
Constantine 2. There's a Keanu Reeves has a script for the sequel to his Constantine movie that's been in the works for a while, and I mean, chances are we're gonna get a green light on that this year. More likely.
So I had
this
Boyd
prediction.
Holbrook, Travis Fimmel, and Theo James were the other three major contenders. Then for the honorable mentions, I did have Keanu Reeves in there because I was like, you know what, he's a popular fan cast. I'll throw that in there. And then Charlie Hunnam, I threw him in there too.
Okay. Yeah, Theo James would be good for that for sure.
Theo James, I think we ultimately thought was no, but I thought Theo James was the one that we were like, oh yeah, that's an underrated, probably gonna have kind of really good pick potentially. He's in That Gentleman.
Theo Roth for that too. Another Theo, he would be really good.
Yeah.
Wait, who was that again? Who
Theo Roth, Shades from.
Oh, yes.
Met him.
I don't know the actor's name. I just know him as, he was in The Penguin and he was in, Luke Cage. That's what I know him as. That guy.
Yeah.
By the way, John's predictions has still got the chat lit up. The whole there's no way Doomsday does not make at least $1 billion, and Spider-Man will anyway. Okay, now we move on to my bold prediction.
I agree.
You're asking for bold.
I agree.
Fair enough. All right, so let's wrap up all our bold prediction. Okay, that's the inside baseball between Fiona and I. I'm still in the doghouse.
It's 4 years from now, so I'm going to be 32 if that comes out, so...
You know what, Fiona? If you want to put that bold prediction in the comments below, we will bring that back into the show. We'll review all of our, crazy predictions, our bold predictions at the end of the year.
Also, honorable mention, I still say Penguin season 2 is coming out before Batman Part 2.
Great. By the way, if I'm 50 by the time the next Avatar movie comes out, then James Cameron would be like 95. So I just don't know.
I will say, what we're getting? We're going to be getting, but we still are going to be getting Batman Part 2 before GTA 6, so that's something, I guess.
There is that.
Are we, though? I feel like isn't GTA 6
because
supposed to come out?
GTA 6 got delayed to November of 2027.
Oh. Wow. I thought it was coming out this year. Am I wrong about that?
No, it got delayed again, didn't it?
But didn't it only get moved by like a month or two? I don't think it was like moved by a whole year.
I thought it was a year.
Before we stop spreading rumors, it's November of this year, John. It's not 2027.
I thought it was 2027. Hang on. Let me see.
Let's not give the people wrong information. You might start a real panic.
Okay, it is November of this year. Damn it, I was so close to being funny. God damn it. Oh well.
It's still possible.
You know what? You know fucking what? It's still probably we're still probably gonna get the Batman Part 2 before I fucking know GTA 6 is gonna get delayed again. You fucking know it's gonna get delayed again. Okay, so don't give me that.
Okay, but as of right now, it's coming out this November, and they haven't announced another delay. Something could always change, but it's not. Okay, anyway, let's move on to my bold prediction.
I mean,
my
they
one
did
bold
fire
prediction.
half their staff because they tried to start a union. So, frankly, Rockstar can go fuck themselves.
And on that note, I'm gonna give my bold prediction for the year. And look, here's the thing: this might be the least bold of all three. But it may end up being pretty bold ultimately because there's some big competition. If you look at like the field between Leonardo DiCaprio and Timothée Chalamet, and I mean, that's just touching the surface. Liz, you saw some of the best movies of the year last year in 2025. Michael B. Jordan. The reason why I think Michael B. Jordan winning his very first Academy Award, he's gonna get nominated for his very first Academy Award as Best Actor for Sinners. And I think to me, this is bold. Why? Because Sinners came out by the time the Oscars happened
he's
a year
black and the Academy is racist.
Also, but there's also the recency bias. We were talking about
movie, and they don't ever nominate scary movies for anything.
Except it's the substance.
And so far, Timothée Chalamet has won it at the Critics' Choice. So early going, Timothée Chalamet has the momentum with Marty Supreme, and there's always going to be this human element.
And there's
to voting
recency
for the Oscars.
bias. We were just talking about that yesterday, Dan.
Exactly.
Just the whole
That's what I
recency
mean.
bias thing. We're like, oh, Conclave is going to fucking sweep the Oscars, and then fucking, you know, Mikey Madison with her sex worker shit is like,
don't get me started.
And then it's like, you know.
Yep. Heaven forbid you fuckers see the films that are sent to you for free, you dicks. Yeah, I can't. Anyway.
But basically, my point was, it's more of a low-key, bold prediction than you might realize, because again, I was talking about the other day. Last year there was a report we mentioned that there was more white males directing and making TV shows and movies than in a long time. It's like all of a sudden diversity in front and behind the camera has gone down, and not a lot of people are talking about it. And I don't think it just has to do with the current political climate. There's more to it than that. Probably it's a bigger conversation to have. But simply, if not for the fact that there's a significant lack of diversity in the recent times.
Honestly,
it's the recency bias.
I don't know if it's an official one, but I would be willing to bet Wood Rocket is going to make one. So, if you know, you know.
Well, Heated Rivalry already has a second season coming. I think they're going to try to make a few more of those.
And then there's going to be a lot of things coming in that second season. Heyo!
For you, John.
Thank you, John. Thank you. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with that. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
But they better show full dong or I'm not watching it.
Jerry Seinfeld.
And on that note, I think we'll wrap up.
Stop being pussies about it and give us the dong. That's what we want to see. Damn it. Stop being homophobic. Show us the dong.
John, do you want a do-over on your bold prediction for the year? Is that what you're telling us?
I just honestly, because I always go back to this scene, like, all kidding aside, like, it's just, I don't know if you guys know this, like, famous deleted scene from, I think it was Knocked Up, where, like, Jonah Hill goes on this, like, full-on rant about how, if they show, like, what is considered a gratuitous sex scene in, like, Brokeback Mountain, it gets an NC-17, but, like, in a straight hetero relationship, if you show a gratuitous sex scene, it only gets an R rating. So it's like, there is a bit of bias in regards to that. Then that's what I don't mean to objectify the gentleman in the thing. This is all like, that was all like joking and stuff. But at the end of the day, there is the idea of, like, kind of undercurrent homophobia of, like, not showing the more quote-unquote gratuitous stuff, yet you show the gratuitous stuff in straight movies and hetero movies, so it's just like, or TV shows and that kind of thing. So there is that. I'm just saying.
Preach.
I'm just saying.
Preach. And you know what? We have some bold predictions. We went over our 3. You guys have been sending in some in the live chat, but like I said, guys, send them in the comments below. Just copy and paste it down in the comments, because that way we can bring those in. I'll put all of them on a big graphic for us to talk about later this week, and then we'll go over and review whether we got any of them
Anthony
right
has
by the end
one,
of the year.
and I think Dan would be happy about it.
Christopher Nolan already has $2 billion movies. The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises made $1 billion apiece. The Dark Knight was the very first superhero movie before the Avengers to make $1 billion. And so this would be his third. It would be his first since the Dark Knight trilogy, but it wouldn't be his first, period. So, but anyway, leave your one bold prediction in the comments. We'll bring those in later. We'll have to check our homework. John will need to get his notepad out and make his notes, and then put them in a spreadsheet.
Oppenheimer didn't make $1 billion. It got really close, but it did not make $1 billion.
It didn't. It was like Minecraft. It just in Doctor Strange. Yes. Well, Barbie made $1 billion, right?
Yes, it did.
Yeah. Anyway, 2026 at the movies. It looks like a promising year, and whether some of those bold predictions come true or not, it's gonna be fun. And Liz is gonna be watching more movies than she has in a while. I'm sure I'm gonna get out to the theaters, and John is getting out to the theaters more often, and you guys should too. And with that, though, it's time for us to get into the quick hits. Let's talk about the quick hits, John. We got a bunch to get into today. We hit that bossa nova elevator music, and let's get through some quick hits, shall we? All right.
Yes.
I don't think that's one of the quickest, John. Let's switch
That's
over
not
to
one
the
of the
quickest.
quickest. My bad. I didn't know if we were using those. So anyway, first things first, I'm the realist. Stranger Things 5 reaches Netflix all-time top 10 wet series finale. Thoughts?
Not surprised. I mean, but Netflix has these like weird discombobulated formulas for all this stuff.
So hold on though, are they counting theater screenings in this number as well, or no? Just streams on the platform.
This is just Netflix. This does not count the theatrical release.
I mean, it's not a surprise. They were marketing this thing like crazy the past couple of months. So good for them. And Lord knows, I was one of those people. We watched it as a family New Year's Eve night. So.
Yes. Oh, wait. Hold on.
Your brother never told you never threaten a man's family?
All right, John,
it's
continue.
Been too long.
Anyway.
There we go.
The Avengers Doomsday teaser trailer just got released, so now you can see it in all of its glory. In all of its glory on YouTube and wherever else you can find your trailers.
Glad he's in the right suit, but fuck you, buddy.
He doesn't have the trunks. They go fuck him. Like, James Gunn, he brought trunks back, and then Marvel was like, no, we're not doing the trunks. Marvel, you can go fuck yourselves.
The uniform still looks good. But fuck you, James.
They just didn't want the bulge. Yeah. They couldn't handle the heat. That's what it is.
You know what? He doesn't deserve the trunks either. He doesn't deserve it.
Believe in the bulge, everybody. Believe in the bulge. But anyway, let's keep on. Maybe he doesn't have much to show. So anyway, we'll still.
I know that
because he's a little bitch boy. Probably has a small dick. So
Little
anyway, and little dingling. 2026 will mark the first time since 2019 that both an Avengers film and a Star Wars film are released in theaters in the same year. And both won't make a billion.
Nope.
But that's okay. I mean, Mandalorian and Grogu is kind of a glorified TV movie.
I can't wait for it.
Anyway, so congrats to Disney getting all the money. But apparently Netflix becomes home of the WWE library in US. Dan, we're talking about wrestling. Come back, because neither of us care about this. We're gonna fucking jump to the next thing.
I don't care.
No, he's gone. Okay, we're gonna move on.
How long?
No. Wait. I'm back. I mean, they did their Stranger Things Monday Night Raw crossover episode this week. So basically Peacock had the rights until the end of the year, and now Netflix has confirmed this. So basically all of WWE's classic pay-per-views, everything before September 2025, when now from there onwards all their pay-per-views, or PLEs they call them now, premium live events, are going to be on the ESPN streaming service. But everything, all the historical library, like old stuff, documentaries, they got a bunch of new stuff too coming up. All basically what used to be on the WWE network is then went to Peacock, is now going to be on Netflix. So if you're a fan, I mean, in the US it's on there. It's been on Netflix internationally for a little while, but yeah. Well, I already started. Okay, you know what? All right, let's move on. It's a quick hit. So
anyway, moving on. Final Actor Awards predictions: one battle after another, poised to break the all-time SAG nomination record with 7. Yeah, because Sean Penn getting a boner is just really true level quality.
But if Tiana Taylor doesn't fucking get something, damn it, that woman deserves all the awards. She should have gotten awards.
She was barely in the movie.
Years back. Listen, that is one talented lady. She deserves awards.
Well, I mean,
even
I'm not
for,
surprised.
All's Fair. Wasn't she in that? Wasn't she in All's
Fair? Yes, she is in All's Fair.
We can all afford a bad
All's
movie
Fair season 2 too. Don't be a hater, John.
I'm not a hater. It's just she needs a better agent after being in that crap and this crap.
They all seem to really.
Well, this is, by the way, the record. This is for the Actor Awards, which is basically, they used to be called the SAG-AFTRA Awards. We're not talking about the Oscars in this
Screen
case.
Actors Guild. I know.
Screen Actors Guild. So one battle after another won, Best Picture, Best Director at the Critics' Choice Awards recently. So they're kind of off to a good start. Will they win all the big ones? I don't know, but the SAG Awards usually are a big bellwether for who's going to win at the Oscars. So given that they'll have 7 nominations,
learn that word, Dan. You've used that word a couple times already.
I'm just saying, if they do well and they win a bunch, that might mean that they'll have a big lead at the Oscars. They might win not just Best Picture, Best Director, they might win the acting awards too. So, anyway, let's keep on going.
Yes. But next up, apparently, Lionsgate has greenlit the sequel for The Housemaid.
We knew that was
apparently Sydney Sweeney is eyeing to return because it is based on a book series. I think there's 3. I think it's a trilogy.
And what I've been told, the book series, once you start, you just can't stop. The book series is unbelievable from what I've been told. This movie was,
this is the only Sydney Sweeney movie to make money this year or last year. So,
Well, it's not surprising.
She's a great actress. It's a real shame she's a piece of shit in real life, but she is a fucking great actress. This movie was awesome. You want to talk about sex scenes? Woo-hoo, girl.
Yes, it does have a scene. I think, as I said, I think there's a trilogy. There might be more books. I know at the very least that there's trilogy. So, that's why I'm like, I want to watch it, but I hate Paul Feig.
I mean, you also have potential DCU Batman Brendan Sklenar in this.
Yeah.
So, and Amanda Seyfried turned down
Harley Quinn with Amanda Seyfried, so there's that too.
Remember, she turned down Gamora back in the day. So
she did.
Yeah. Anyway, not surprised to see this is getting a sequel.
Yeah. Congrats. Speaking of congrats, Amazon's Tomb Raider adds Sigourney Weaver, Jason Isaacs, and Bill Patterson, and more. Sorry, buddy. No matter how many awesome, famous people you add to this show, nobody's gonna fucking watch it because it looks like shit.
I've met 2 of these people.
I'll probably go back and play the games, honestly, because there will never be a good Tomb Raider movie. So,
yeah.
Anyway.
I mean, look, it's all gonna depend on how well Sophie Turner can play the lead ultimately. Hello. Oh, wait. The best sandwich maker. We'll do what we usually do with that. Anyway, let's move on. Tomb Raider. Sigourney Weaver. These announcements were made before, but now they've kind of filled out the whole cast. So, and if you read in the article, they'll tell you which characters they're playing as well. So moving on.
But we don't care about that. Kristen Stewart says she would be interested in directing a Twilight remake. Imagine if we had a huge budget and a bunch of love and support. You had that in the beginning. What?
Yeah, they did. They still do. The fan base is still feral. I think this is really cute, though. I thought Kristen was like Robert, where she wanted nothing to do with this franchise, and the fact that she still kind of cares about it, I think that says a lot.
You know what I want to see?
Go ahead, do it.
You know
Redo
what I think
it.
they should do instead of remaking it? Do the gender swapped version that Stephanie Meyer wrote a couple years ago, where it was like it was a boy who was like, like you had a werewolf muscle mommy and emo goth chick vying for his affection, and I'm like, all right, now I get it. Okay, now I get what the ladies have been talking about for years. We get it now. We understand. And if they do that, then I can guarantee you that would print money. Every dude would go see that movie.
I mean, listen, those YA books are still wildly popular. TikTok is only making them even more popular. I'm still reading them myself. They still have a huge fan base. People would flock to the theaters for this. So I hope she makes it happen. Good for her.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway. Next up. Jack Black regrets turning down The Incredibles. Rejected offer to voice Syndrome after asking the director for rewrites. Why was I being so difficult? Honestly, I think this was a blessing in disguise, because as much as I love Jack Black, I cannot see him for this role. Jason Lee...
Like worked out this exact same performance, though, honestly.
But the thing is, with Jack Black, he's too lovable. Jason Lee, he's great at playing a fucking scumbag. Jack Black, I don't really see it playing a scumbag. The reason that Jason Lee, I feel like, worked with Syndrome was because he was, a little bit menacing, a little bit of a sleazebag, and then but also kind of funny. I feel like Jack Black couldn't have done that, and I feel like that we got kind of like Tim Allen voicing Buzz instead of Billy Crystal. Like, I feel like it was a blessing in disguise.
That's fair. I could see Billy Crystal more as Woody, not as Buzz.
Yeah, but originally the character of Buzz and Woody were like way different from what they actually became. So it's originally Buzz Lightyear was supposed to be more of a like funny character and like kind of like a more comic relief kind of character. So that's why they wanted Billy Crystal. Anyway, next up, Mission Impossible and Top Gun actor Greg Tarzan Davis, what a fucking name, joins thriller Snare. Now we gotta get him in a Tarzan movie. Like, I mean, I'm sure he's got the bod for it. Like, honestly, I feel like it's in the making. I don't even know who the fuck this guy is, but I don't remember him from Mission Impossible or Top Gun. So I was like, yeah, sure, why not?
I mean, he was one of the pilots. I mean, he was one of the Top Gun pilots in the movie. I remember him. He was in the Mission Impossible movie last year too, with Tom Cruise. He's been in the last 2 Mission Impossible movies. So
that's what it says.
It's a fun name. He's got a great name. So yeah. I don't know how good of an actor he is. I guess we'll find out. So.
Well, I mean, you're a film, so.
Anyway, Oasis would be honored to write James Bond theme song, but Noel Gallagher says he's not heard from Amazon MGM Studios. Yeah, this will never happen. If they denied Radiohead for being too dark, no fucking way would they get Oasis.
I mean, they got Billie Eilish, so why not? Fucking put it.
Sounded like she was slipping through that fucking song.
Put it online, gentlemen. What's stopping you? Put it online. But this is so weird. This is so random.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Anyway, next up, Alan Silvestri posted something about a week ago. Merry Christmas and looking forward to a very happy New Year 2026. And people are like, hey, Alan, buddy, what you doing, buddy? What you doing there? And, you know, we do have another Avengers movie coming out. So, Alan, are you doing it? And that's what people are kind of insinuating here. Dan, do you think that Alan Silvestri is going to come back for Avengers Doomsday?
Look, it's not confirmed, but I wouldn't be surprised because Marvel's going all out. Like, if they can have John Williams be back for the new Star Wars movies they did, or he's basically John Williams is done, retired, but he's doing the Steven Spielberg's Disclosure Day soundtrack. So between him coming back, Michael Caine said he was done, but he might come back with Vin Diesel in a movie. It's Alan Silvestri will probably at least give us part. I mean, he might not be working on it by himself, but I think he'll be back for Avengers Doomsday and maybe even Secret Wars, because this is like Marvel going back to basics. And Alan Silvestri created that iconic Avengers theme, so I think he'll be back.
Anyway.
Yeah.
But 50 Cent apparently is developing a true crime series exploring infamous gang rivalries for A&E.
Dude,
anything to keep the money train flowing.
I'll just say this: I came across that he was on with Stephen Colbert a while ago, and doing like a quick hits verse thing where they mentioned give one compliment to Ja Rule, and he's like, well, he's alive. And then I love the comments how this is just not, everybody knows what the 50 Cent vibe is. Somebody was like, well, he's alive was a joke, a warning, and a reminder all in one. I can't wait for all the warning and reminders that 50 Cent's got, all the receipts he's going to dish out here, because it's 50 Cent's world, we're just living in it. You better watch out, 50 Cent's watching you.
I can't wait for him as Balrog in fucking Street Fighter.
No, I'm here for it. There was a great quote that said 2025 was the year of petty. We started with Kendrick Lamar and his pettiness, and we finished off the year with 50 Cent and his pettiness. And I'm just, you know what? More of it, please. More of it.
More of it, indeed. 50 Cent is the main character. While Snoop Dogg does side quests, 50 Cent is leading the way.
100%.
Yeah. But apparently, genre host Brandon Davis is launching a new podcast. Congrats!
Hey, it's gonna be the Brandon Davis show, I think. I He's done a lot of big time.
Who doesn't have a fucking podcast at this point? This is done.
Well, I think
he
used to. Didn't he used to work for another outlet? Now he's doing his own thing. I mean, he's gonna be launching with a Michael Rooker interview. He's gonna have Maria Gabriela de Faria, who plays the engineer in the DCU. He's a big, DC fan, of course. He's done multiple interviews with James Gunn last year. In fact, I think he did the interview with James Gunn. That was the last interview in the promotional campaign for Superman. So good on Brandon Davis. I'm sure we'll be getting more quotes from his new podcast for Supergirl and Clayface and beyond. So excited about that.
Very cool. Yep. And then finally, it is Rowan Atkinson's birthday today.
The GOAT.
So,
Mr. It's his birthday. Oh, okay. Good. Happy birthday. It's also my cousin Mike's birthday, so good for them.
Hey, happy birthday, Mike, and happy birthday, Sir Rowan Atkinson.
And speaking of Sir Rowan Atkinson, I don't know if you guys talked about this, but around Christmas time, he released a 4-part Netflix miniseries called Man vs. Baby. It is delightful. It is so fucking cute. Please, I implore you guys to watch it. There's something for everybody in there. It's really, really fucking adorable. Please watch it. It's really great.
It's amazing. I mean, Rowan Atkinson, like Sir Rowan Atkinson, is a national treasure, and not just a national treasure. He's a human treasure. Like I can't tell you like how relatable his style of comedy is, and it's not just Mr. Bean. The man was famous before Mr. Bean. Mr. Bean is the thing that we mostly know him for, and even at his age now, like he's just turning 71. A young 71 if anything, and yeah, we'll forever know him as one of the best comedians of any generation, like up there for me with Charlie Chaplin and all. But hey, you know what, Sir Rowan Atkinson's middle name is Sebastian, and speaking of Sebastian, we have Sebastian Stan joining the DCU, hopping across from the MCU, which is what we'll be talking about on the other side of the news, because that's the end of the Quick Hits, John, and that's the end of the news part of the show. And all we got left to talk about now is DCU Daily, where Sebastian Stan will be joining up with Scarlett Johansson. Matt Reeves might be the man. I mean, people keep saying James Gunn is an inside agent for Marvel. Well, I don't know. Matt Reeves is the guy getting all the Marvel actors to come across the pond, as it were, from Marvel to DC. Let's talk about it in a moment.
Turncoats all.
Liz, would love to get your comments on it, but before we do, as per always, let's listen to James Gunn call us blessed from the beginning.
It's another project that's been blessed from the beginning.
There's the shot right there. That.
Okay, we don't need to see
right there.
Hey, buddy, eyes up here.
Now you want to get nuts?
Let's get nuts. Here we go.
Victory mine. Ask me how am I doing? I'm telling you, really, I'm doing sublime. I never wait in the stewardess line. I just go do it. I'm moving my time. Really had nothing to do with it. How am I moving? I'm moving like you want to shine. Follow my lead. Don't listen to lies. I had to put me all on the line. That's why I know that victory's mine.
I prefer Jared Leto.
Hunka hunka.
Hello, it is me. I am indeed the danger. I am the one who knocks. And I'm also John. Nice to meet you, if you haven't been here already, but most people have, so hello. We're gonna talk about DC. And specifically, we're gonna talk about the Becks. Dan's favorite name for a franchise ever, the Becks, the Batman epic crime saga.
I mean, who needs Pecs if you got Becks? But anyway, we can't wait to talk about.
We're just gonna move on from that because we're not doing that. We're not doing that.
I think you need pecs for Becks, to be fair. It's important.
Sure. Anyway,
I don't know if any of that made any sense whatsoever, but
it didn't. Anyway,
there you go. Thank you, John, for confirming. Let's talk about the Batman Part 2, because of course I mentioned before we got to this part of the show is the big news of the day in DC. Not only are we going to talk about the Joker coming back in the Batman Part 2, maybe having a bigger role, but also Sebastian Stan, Bucky Barnes from the MCU. Of course, he's going to be He's gonna be in Avengers Doomsday. Who knows if he's gonna be in Secret Wars or not? But he's still very much in the Marvel sphere. But Sebastian Stan has never been shy of taking on as diverse a slate of projects as any actor in the game today. He's one of the best in the business, and he's doing usually 4, 5, 6 movies a year. So it's not surprising in that sense, but it is surprising that somebody who's still got a significant role to play in the world of Marvel is now going to be jumping across to DC at the same time. I don't think there's ever been an instance where somebody, an actor that is, has been playing two such I mean, again, we don't know yet who he's going to play, but Sebastian Stan is in talks for a role opposite Robert Pattinson in the Batman Part 2. And I can't think of another example where there was one actor who was playing two potentially significant roles in Marvel and DC at the same time. Usually you have somebody like a Michael Rooker who did Yondu, and then he was in Peacemaker, and he was in the Suicide Squad with James Gunn. And we have Scarlett Johansson already in the Batman Part 2. We don't know who she's playing yet, but she's already done with the MCU playing Black Widow. So I want to get your reactions to this, because for me, this was surprising and yet not surprising at the same time for the reasons I mentioned. Liz, since you are a big Marvel fan, and of course you love Sebastian Stan's iteration of Bucky, we know he was in the Thunderbolts. He's going to be in Doomsday this year. Are you surprised? What is your take on him joining up with Matt Reeves and the Batman Part 2?
I just hope that paycheck was worth it, buddy. That's all I can say. You know how I feel about loyalty, gang. No, whatever. I love the Batman. So I'm not mad about this necessarily. Sebastian Stan is one of my dudes. He always goes hard with it. He puts his all into every outrageous character that he plays. So good for him. Make that money. Not that you need it because you got the Marvel, check behind you this year too, but whatever. Take our guys. It's fine.
Yeah, and you guys are mentioning in the comments there have been other instances, but in most cases, like Christian Bale was, like Monique mentioned, he was in Thor: Love and Thunder, but he was also the Dark Knight trilogy, but those movies came out years apart. I mentioned Scarlett Johansson, done playing Black Widow now for a number of years. So because think about it, John, I want to get your take on this. Avengers Doomsday would have been would have just come out of theaters a mere 8-9 months when the Batman Part 2 comes out. Not to mention, less than a year after the Batman Part 2 comes out, we're going to get Avengers Secret Wars. So Sebastian Stan is going to be doing this whole Marvel DC thing back and forth, and we're going to see him in these two big comic book movie franchises in back-to-back years in less than even 18 months time, I think, if you really do the math on everything. Your take on all of that, because of course 2027 is going to be a big year for the comic book movie genre. You've got Avengers Secret Wars, you will have Man of Tomorrow and the Batman Part 2. Sebastian Stan is going to be in 2 of those movies 3 months apart. What was your reaction? And then maybe since I know you are probably the most well versed in DC comic lore amongst the 3 of us, so walk us through who you think he might be playing in terms of the character in the movie as well.
He's playing Harvey Dent. He is 100% playing Harvey Dent. Like, I can't see anybody else. Like, like, there's no one else that he would be playing. He would 100% play Harvey Dent. Like, I've seen him fan casted as the character. I've seen, like, top tier people say, oh, he's not going to be playing Two-Face, I don't think. I don't think he's going to play Two-Face, but he is definitely playing Harvey Dent. Like, I'm gonna, like, confirm, this is another bold prediction of mine, although not for 2026, for 2027, he is 110% playing Harvey Dent. Like, okay. There's nobody else he would be ever, actually.
So, if he's playing Harvey Dent, then do you think that Scarlett Johansson is playing Gilda Dent? His wife.
It seems more likely now.
Because I mean, that would make sense, right? I mean, it's also, when you look at all 3 of those actors, by the way, Sebastian Stan, Scarlett Johansson, and Robert Pattinson, I believe, were all in a movie together on Netflix a while ago. I think they talk about it in this article, or I think it's either this one or the next one we're going to get into, the comicbookmovie.com article. So Sebastian Stan has certainly worked alongside Pattinson before, and Scarlett Johansson, obviously he's worked with her before. So the chemistry might already be there. And having said all that, let's say for the moment we assume that he's playing Harvey Dent, because like you said, it's really likely, and then maybe that means Scarlett Johansson is also going to be playing Gilda Dent or Gilda Gold, whichever version of the character. We talked about maybe she plays something that's Court of Owls related. I mean, Jeff Snyder has predicted, if you go to the comicbookmovie.com article, I think in the follow-up to this news breaking, which Deadline broke earlier today, then Jeff Snyder went on, I think, his X account and posted something about it. If you scroll down here, your favorite insider, John, mentioned that the in addition to, yep, there you go. In addition to the Sebastian Stan news, it looks like we might be getting, more of an idea of what the rest of these, big-time actors are going to be doing. That being said, let's take that as an assumption for now. What does it say about the state of DC that you have these big name actors? I mean, Scarlett Johansson and Sebastian Stan are two of the bigger names in the business right now. They're two of the more successful names. I'm not saying they're like the two best actors. They're two of the better or the best actors, but they're not necessarily the two of the best. They do a lot of movies. Scarlett Johansson is collecting franchises these days between Jurassic Park or Jurassic World and now, Bex. And then Sebastian Stan does like half a dozen movies a year. What does this say about what Matt Reeves has on the pages of the script for the Batman Part 2? I mean, Liz, this must be impressive enough that you've got these big name actors coming on and signing up. Not to mention, because remember, Scarlett Johansson wasn't even the first pick for whatever role she's going to play. It was meant to be going to Emma Stone, and then she declined, and because DC didn't want to pay her the asking rate for her, so Scarlett Johansson actually pursued it to the point where she then bowed out of another. What was the other franchise, John, that Scarlett Johansson bowed out from to join up the Batman Part 2? Because she's still going to be in The Exorcist, but there was at least another movie she was going to do that. I think it was
well, I mean, she's going to be in Jurassic World. Fucking. I think it was Maleficent. 12.
Yeah, but like there was another franchise movie that Scarlett Johansson was going to be a part of, and she left that to be a part of the Batman Part 2. And then now Sebastian Stan. Liz, what does it tell you about the state of DC, especially the Matt Reeves, cinematic, the Batman epic crime saga universe that he's got going on?
Well, I think the two of them know enough from their experience with Marvel. Like, how many actors have said time and time again that when Marvel comes calling, they pick up the phone? I think it's the same thing with DC. Yes, they don't have as many prominent blockbusters as Marvel has under their belt. They haven't established that real core franchise just yet, but they all love James Gunn. They wouldn't mind, coming back on board. Not that he's directing. I know he's not, but the fact is
he's
have
still
that
signing off on this.
Right. They have that history with James. They know James is going to do right by the project. He's going to do right by the actors. He's going to do right by the audience. So I think that's appealing. I don't think they needed to read a script. I think they heard, DC wants you. We're interested in this. Maybe they threw out a couple character ideas. ScarJo's got nothing to do right now. She's not coming back to Marvel. So why not? I also think, what if Sebastian Stan's playing this iteration of Superman? We still don't know if he's going to show up randomly in the Batman. I agree that it is more than likely going to be Harvey Dent. He definitely has that build and that look. He's certainly played, Wall Street type dudes before. So he could absolutely play a lawyer. But I mean, I feel like, especially for these guys who are seasoned, they've been in the business for so long, it's a no-brainer for them. If somebody like DC is calling them, sure, they'll make some time and they'll, see what they have to say. So it doesn't surprise me at all. Again, I prefer when there's a loyalty, you stick to your side of the street, but go ahead, make that money, whatever.
Absolutely. I mean, the first Batman movie made almost $800 million. It came out in 2022, right after the pandemic. It was one of those first movies that truly brought people back to the theaters. And Matt Reeves clearly, is one of the best filmmakers in the business, whether you look at what he has done with the Planet of the Apes franchise, now what he's doing with the Batman Epic Crime Saga. Like you said, Liz, we're more than likely going to get a Penguin season 2, and the Batman Part 2 must be. I mean, you got these two actors on board. I mean, and Colin Farrell is still going to be playing Penguin in a reduced capacity in the movie. This is going to be a star-studded, stacked cast. You look at the poster for the first one. You still got Jeffrey Wright coming in as Detective Gordon. And Andy Serkis is going to be still, Alfred. So you just keep adding on top. And even if Zoe Kravitz isn't coming back as Catwoman, from Robert Pattinson down to everybody else we have talked about, DC is making big moves. This is, I think, for where they were with the DCEU to where they are now. This is like a total 180 and in all the right ways. Having said all that, John, that's not the only thing that we heard about today. If you could scroll down on the Variety article, they, in their report on the Sebastian Stan joining the Batman Part 2 news, which, by the way, again, they're all saying he's in talks. So they are not confirming this as in this is a done deal, but much like Scarlett Johansson, given that we're hearing about it, this is basically across the finish line unless we hear anything different. And they're not going to put a press release out from DC talking about this. But having said all that, Variety, in addition to reporting that the Sebastian Stan is in talks to join the Batman Part 2, said, and it's kind of, deeply buried in like the second last paragraph in the article, but they do mention that, and you have highlighted here, John, Barry Keoghan is also expected to return or appear once more as the Joker. Of course, he technically wasn't even in the first Batman movie. He was just in the deleted scene that I don't know if that's really canon, that particular scene, because I mean they did put it out there and kind of released it separately from even just the Blu-ray exclusives. But Liz and John, I guess I want to hear both of your takes. Like, what does Barry Keoghan coming back as the Joker even mean for the movie? Is he gonna be sort of like that Silence of the Lambs kind of a role where he just stays in Arkham and Batman just goes to ask for his advice and stuff?
I've seen this theory as well, by the way, the enterprising theory. Like, I've seen the theory that they're gonna do like a whole twist thing where like they set up Harvey Dent is gonna be Two-Face, but then either Gilda Dent or maybe it's the sister character. I don't know if I ever read Volume 2 of Earth 1, but I do remember reading a little bit of, I don't think I ever read Volume 2, but they could do like the whole twist thing where she becomes Two-Face and like he just remains Harvey Dent. So that could be kind of an interesting twist if done right.
Yeah.
But it would piss people off because we hate women, but it's like you have like those people. So I mean, it to me it's weird. It's just like, since so much of the first movie was like clearly inspired by the Long Halloween, it feels weird to do Long Halloween again, because it just feels like that the people who make these movies know like 3 Batman stories. It's like Dark Knight Rises, Long Halloween, and Year One. It's like, oh, hey, can we like do something different, please? It's just, one of the things I liked about the first one was like, oh, it had like weirder, like, not weirder, but like lesser known, like, oh, you had the comic book arc of Zero Year, you had Batman Ego. I'm like, okay, those are like different. And now it's just like, oh no, we're doing Long Halloween again. It's like, all right, like, we get it, Long Halloween, one of the greatest Batman stories of all time, but like, there's other really great Batman stories that exist that you can take, inspiration from. You don't have to adapt, but it's just like, we've seen the song and dance before. It's like, we've seen you guys, there's been a literal adaptation of Long Halloween, and it was really good, actually, by the way. And it's just, it's just kind of tired. It's just like there's literally fucking 80 years of history with Batman. Like, fucking pick something else. Like, I understand, like, the Silver Age is kind of off the mark for, like, Matt Reeves. You can't do anything Silver Age. But, like, fucking, like, Joker's, like, Five-Way Revenge, anything by Denny O'Neil, like, Strange Apparitions was an inspiration for one of the early Batman scripts before it was made into the Tim Burton movie. So, I don't know, it just feels like there's a lot of things that you can do, a lot of things we haven't seen from this character that you can do and can work. It's just like, but people just keep adapting or being inspired by the same like 3 to 5 stories, and it's like, okay, this is just tiring. Like, give us something. That's why, superhero fatigue. Like, oh, we're just getting the same shit over. Oh, we're getting this. Oh, okay. It's like, then it's like, oh, it's just tiring all over again. It's like, ugh. That's why I've been so like unimpressed by most Batman movies, because they're like the same movies over again, and it's just like, it feels like we haven't gotten like that really good, like, perfect harmony Batman movie. We've gotten great, like, Dark Knight's great, Batman had the right like tonal quality. You had like the Batman had like I feel like each Batman movie gets like 1 or 2 things like about the character like perfectly, and then everything else is just like background noise. Like, it's like, oh, Batman 89 had the tone. Batman Returns had the villains. Batman Forever had the psychology of Batman, similar with The Dark Knight. And then Rises kind of had a good merging of realism and like comic book ideas. I just feel like with every like iteration, it's just like you get those couple of things right, and then it's just like the rest of it is it could either suck or be great. It's just like they get a couple things right that I want to. It's like if you take all those aspects that each Batman movie has done and then combine them into one, you'd get a good Batman movie. But I feel like on their own, 89, Returns, Forever, Dark Knight Trilogy, they're great movies, some better than others, but you just never, you just don't get the all-encompassing thing. For me, like, I see aspects of great Batman movies in each of these movies, but I haven't gotten that perfect Batman movie looking back on all we've gotten, and I'm just, I'm just tired.
Yeah. Well, look, I will always keep saying DC is still...
Exactly. That's another thing I fucking hate, is, it's got to be Frank Miller. He called him a retard. He eats rats in the Batcave. Like, I'm sick of that shit. There are other Batman writers other than Frank Miller. I know that's crazy. I just fucking exploded Zack Snyder's mind. But, like, there's other way better Batman writers than Frank Miller. I know. That's fucking crazy. Like, Frank Miller doesn't even reach the top 10 of Batman writers. There. I fucking said it. I'm so sick of the Frank Miller horse shit. I want compassionate Batman. I want good father figure Batman. I'm sick of the Frank Miller, diet Frank Miller bullcrap. Just give us a Batman who's like good and human and like, he has to learn to become no, I want him to just be the symbol of hope. I don't want him to learn over and over and over again. We've seen it like 16 times in the past like decade. I'm sick of it. Just have him be already there, have him be human, have him be compassionate, and boom, there we go. Jesus, like, I'm sick of it. Like, it feels like we're just getting the same thing over and over again. There's so much content, so much fucking content that you could pull from, and we get it. Like, we don't get it on in live action. I know, it's crazy. I know, Grant Morrison, Steve Englehart, all these guys. It's crazy.
I mean, look,
crazy.
Here's what I'll say. Great rant, but ultimately, if you scroll to the top of the article, then this isn't confirming anything beyond saying we're gonna get Sebastian Stan in the movie, most likely. Scarlett Johansson's on, and you've got a stacked cast. The first Batman movie, The Batman, made more money than even Superman did, right? And it did it like closer to the pandemic times. There's always gonna be that idea, like I said, DC stands for Detective Comics. DC is the house that Batman built. The Batman movies will always, whether it's The Batman, The Dark Knight, they will always have a better track record at the box office and easier time making money. And Matt Reeves' first Batman movie was very well received by both the audiences and, of course, the critics. So it checked all the boxes. Now, this seems like they're just going forward with the narrative that they largely were building to in the first movie. Nothing has really changed ultimately, from where we were a few days ago. Now we just have more high-profile actors in there. And I don't want to go too far with, potentially he might be playing so-and-so until it's confirmed to be what it is. And we were going to potentially go in the direction of the Court of Owls. We might get a Hush. But again, none of that has been confirmed. So Sebastian Stan joining is a big deal. I think it speaks a lot to the idea that DC has rebounded in a big way, because for a while it didn't seem like they were able to kind of really have the reputation because of the terrible results of the box office with the DCEU. The Batman and the the new DCU has really turned that around. So I think just, again, a high-level overview, DC's in a good place. The fact that they're getting in-demand actors like Scarlett Johansson, who could have her pick of movies, who does have her pick of movies. Sebastian Stan gets a million projects on his desk probably every day. And for him to sign up for this must mean that, Matt Reeves has something very special in mind for him, and he's signed on to do that. Liz, this movie has also been delayed 2 or 3 years. The fact that we're finally getting, close to it beginning production later this spring, it's a good thing for me because I can't wait to get this movie. I've ranted many a times. They've delayed this thing 3 times. It was meant to come out last year originally. Yep. By the time it comes out, it would have been over 5 years, almost 6 years, 5.5 years at least, from when the Batman came out in spring 2022. Yeah. It's been long enough, and I'm just hoping. I mean, there's going to be a lot of pressure on this movie because it's the only Elseworlds thing that's going on right now that's not part of the DCU continuity. Yeah. Does this overall raise your expectation of what you expect to see from the movie because you're adding another high caliber actor like Sebastian Stan, and then of course Barry Keoghan coming back because, like I said, he wasn't even in the movie. He just had a deleted scene, which may not even be canon to the story that they're telling. So technically, this would be the first time, if it ends up being true, that Barry Keoghan joins in as the Joker, and then you have Sebastian Stan and Scarlett Johansson with Jeffrey Wright, with Robert Pattinson, with Andy Serkis. You've got just this is usually when we talk about those names all together, we're talking about some Oscar bait prestige movie, but we're talking about a Batman film. I think that's a good thing. I mean, your thoughts on this and your expectations for the movie at this point.
Well, I mean, I kind of feel the same way that I did when we were originally talking about the Batman. Yeah, we had Colin Farrell attached to it. We had all these big names attached to it, but until I see a trailer, until I see the film itself, it means nothing to me. Like I do appreciate that certain actors do get butts in seats as far as the viewing audience is concerned. But for me, it's got to be a good film. Like I don't care who's in it. It could be a complete unknown. If it's a good film, that's what matters. So I liked the first one. I'm very hopeful about the second one. I'm looking forward to it. Yes, I like all of these actors that are going to be brought on, but again, it's a matter of not only what capacity, but also, what kind of film are we going to be getting? So I'm looking forward to it regardless.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, John, you've already kind of given us your opinion on this, but any last thoughts on how I
want to be excited for it. I want to be excited because I did really like the Penguin, and I feel like if they continue with that vibe, then I think you're going to do great things. It's just, I think the first one's a little overrated. I don't think it's as great as everyone says it is, but it's still a good movie. Like, I still liked it, and I still enjoyed it. It's just like, I'm kind of with Caleb on this one. I'm sick of we got to make it grounded, got to make it realistic. I want to see fucking, Batman putting a bullet in Darkseid's head. That's the type of stupid comic book shit I want to fucking see. Batman with prep time can kill a new god. That's the type of stupid shit I want to see. Very comic book. And I feel like we're gonna get that with the DCU. Hopefully, if Andy Muschietti can pull his head out of his ass and actually fucking make this goddamn movies. Oh, I'm gonna do it. Yeah, maybe after these 13 other movies I want to do instead. No. And by the way, James Gunn, if Andy Muschietti's being a jerk around asshole about it, call me up. I can make you a good Batman movie. All right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Just saying.
Okay. No, fair enough. Fair enough. I mean, for me, I thought this was big news.
I'd love to be a part of it. So I too would appreciate a phone call.
I know that they have said that Kristen Milioti, by the way, is not going to be in this movie, but I wouldn't be surprised if they keep adding to the cast and we hear that she's coming back.
She should be. She should be.
She
Hello.
Should be. And I want to say that we will probably get. I mean, Liz, you mentioned that the Penguin Part 2, or whatever they call the second season of the show.
2.
That might get announced before this movie releases, and I want to say that it might actually give us a Catwoman, Kristen Milioti. What's her character name? Sofia Gigante, like that. I want to see those two characters running around. Where did they end up? Where did Catwoman go at the end of the first movie?
Bloodhaven.
Yeah. So I'm I want to see that. Give me whatever that ends up becoming if there's a good idea there. So. But ultimately, this is DC eating good, and I can't wait to see what it turns into. Again, there's no confirmation yet on who Sebastian Stan will be playing, but the rumor is that he's going to be playing Harvey Dent, and then therefore you got to imagine potentially Scarlett Johansson would be playing Gilda Dent. But all that said, guys, that's all we got for you today. That's all she wrote for DCU Daily. We're not done yet, though. The ride ain't over yet, as Jason Momoa would say, or Cyborg would say to Jason Momoa. I don't know, but. we'll be doing Tier List Tuesday coming up. We are ranking the 2025 superhero movies. We've got 7 picks, so it's not just the Marvel and DC movies. We got a few more in addition to that. So stick around, give us a few minutes.
No, Riddler was Mad Hatter. Remember that. Real ones know that the Batman's Riddler was really just Mad Hatter.
So give us a few minutes and we'll go refresh our drinks, use the restroom, and then we'll get started on Tier List Tuesday. You guys are welcome to do the same. Of course, if you didn't already, drop your one bold prediction for 2026 at the movies in the comments down below. We'll bring that in later in the week, and then we'll talk about it at the end of the year and see which ones we got right and which ones we were way off the mark on. But all that said, we'll be back with Tier List Tuesday later. James Cameron movies was on the poll, but it did not win, so we'll be doing the 2025 superhero movies. We will see you there. Until then, good night, good luck, good afternoon, wherever you're watching. Thank you for tuning in. Hit the like button on the way out. We'll see you on Tier List Tuesday.
It's another project that's been blessed from the beginning.
There's the shot right there. That.
Okay, we don't need to see chorus.
Right there.
Hey, buddy. Eyes up here.
Now you want to get nuts?
Let's get nuts. Here we go.
Victory mine. Ask me how am I doing? I'm telling you really I'm doing sublime. I never wait in a stewardess line. I just go do it. I'm moving my time. Really had nothing to do with it. How am I moving? I'm moving like you want to shine. Follow my lead. Don't listen to lies. I had to put me all in the line. That's why I know that victory's mine.
I prefer Jared Leto.
Hunka hunka!
And remember, fuck Jeff Snyder and fuck Tom King.